Pieces maneuvered on the board. The king falls, but the game continues while the judge is still in play. The Duchess Valletta sends Lady Zorgon, a death knight under the control of the Codex Mortis, to threaten the Knights of the Word if they do not produce an artifact recovered from Ringwell. Lord Prospero Alvaro sits and watches, wondering if he'll be congratulating 12 dragons or condemning them as rogue agents. Will the Red Falcons surrender or die? Lord Marco Vorona waits to see which way the game will go, ready to back whoever is most prepared to win. While Lady Shrome waits and wonders, will Verona stop her from defending the stays, or side with House Navarre and start a war over the island? Capital prepares for civil war. Thousands will die. Their only hope? A new prince emerges to unite the city before Ajax arrives. Meanwhile, the hard-bitten officers of the Chain of Acheron prepare to fight death with death. Hey everybody, Matt Colville here. Welcome to the show. These are my friends. We play Dungeons and Dragons on some Wednesday nights, like tonight.
All right.
Before we get started, some announcements. Those of you who've been paying attention know that I've been threatening to take a break for a while, take like 3 months off. For a lot of reasons, partially because we've got this Kickstarter coming up that we're intending on launching soon. And I guess that break is kind of already happening because we got the heist that I am still not ready for. That'll probably take a couple of weeks. I don't know if we're going to play next week. I don't know if I'll be ready. So once the heist is done and we've played through it, so we may play next week, we may not. And then hopefully we will get to the heist and get through it. That'll probably take a couple of weeks. And then there's probably 1 or 2 sessions after that. And then we'll be done. So we're kind of in this in-between twilight state of not actually playing every week before officially going on break. So I don't know what the future holds. We're sort of, we've got a lot of stuff going on here, including the Player's Guide to Capital that we're working on and the Kickstarter that we're planning on launching quite soon, actually. And there's a bunch of dope art I cannot wait to show off for you folks. If you are not signed up and you're afraid of missing it, there's a link you can click on and give us your email and get an alert when the Kickstarter goes live. And so I need to focus on that stuff and sort of work on this stuff when I have time. People have been sending us dope shit, including, well, let's start with this. Somebody watched my video on L5R and sent me one of the classic L5R shirts. This is the Mantis Clan shirts, which references the Son of Storms, which is this guy. So this probably doesn't mean anything to most of you, but I thought it was super cool.
I recognize that name.
Yeah, so whoever sent this is super cool. Thank you very much. And we also all got new boxes from Reckless Robbie.
Reckless Robbie.
Wait, that's not right. Wait, yes it is.
Yes, it is. On Twitter. I've got the thing here in front of me. His website is dragonatheart.com. And we don't normally promote stuff here, but I just quite like this guy's stuff. And, oh, wow, is this mine?
Oh, they're like, damn.
So they have...
Yours is different.
Oh, what?
Mine is for when I play Morag in Phil's game. That's why it's got the Vanguard symbol on it.
That's
This
cool.
is super cool. So it's a little tray that you get character art. It's all done in wood. It's etched.
Yeah.
It's laser etched. It's hinged. And you put dice in it. He just sends us these stuff. He puts a lot of work into it. And we had the kind of the Generation 1 versions. And he has sent us the Generation 2 ones, which are quite nice. They have these really cool joins in here that have been sanded. And
We've got our own little note as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Little
They're
personal
so
note.
sweet.
Slim.
Yeah, that is super, super cool.
Yeah. These are nice.
They're so nice.
The craftsmanship here is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Robbie. And if you
thanks, Robbie.
want a dope I have no idea how much these cost. So you're interested in this kind of thing, hi thee hence to dragonatheart.com. I'm looking forward to Phil running Vanguard again, so I get to... Oh, look at that! look how cool that is, like the negative space and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm fucking made up.
That's fucking cool.
This is great, Robbie.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robbie.
These are no
I love
joke.
you, Robbie. I've said it. I don't care. I'm that happy with this.
This is a 100% genuine, authentic reaction.
No, I am. Every week I sit here. Every week I sit here and look at these wankers with their fancy dice trays.
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
right. You never got one yet. Yeah.
I'm not going to be senior officer. I'm never going to get first tray. I don't want to play.
Well, you were last time we played. You were made senior officer, and you got
And now
your
I've got a
commemorative
dice tray. So now
dice tray.
fucking that's it. I've made it. I've made it in D&D. I've won D&D right there.
So,
Can you kill him?
yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah,
Ross playing.
Ross ball.
I told
Yeah.
you we should have hit it.
Yes, Arcane Gearsmith,
Hey.
Michael Miller, sent me this fucking thing,
I saw some progress
which
shots of
is
this.
crazy. It is
nuts.
it's got a like leather band around it, and I think I'm going to use it tonight. It is a DM screen, and this is the outside of it, so it unfolds.
Whoa.
Fuck it hell.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
Last we left our
So-
heroes. Oh, it's so awesome.
I am using this fucking thing. All y'all budge up because I take more space now.
Yeah, scoot down.
I can't.
I'm actually on the end.
Yeah.
Put your leg around it.
No.
We're just
Absolutely
just gonna need a bigger table.
Yep.
Just gonna need a bigger table. That's all. Cross fingers.
Requireable thespian gas.
Can you put this?
And let's see. Yeah. He also sent these initiative trackers because there's this groove that is cut into the top of this, where you can take these things and slot them in.
Oh.
So you can. I think you can actually.
How do you-
I think you can draw on. You can mark on them. I think.
Sure, yeah.
Dry erase.
I believe these are.
Lexan doodads.
These are what do you call it? These peel off. There's a protective.
Ooh.
I think there's a
A
subreddit for this.
membrane.
Subreddit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I believe you can just get like a dry erase marker or a wet erase marker and write on this, which is pretty neat. So, thank you very much.
What's
Stick,
This is
them
one
in
of
there
the
so
coolest
they don't
things.
fall-
This is
they're
definitely
gonna
one of the coolest
fall
things
through
anybody
if
ever
they're
sent
not
me.
in
Yeah, that's what.
There was an extra thing in mine, by the way. It says, "Don't open this until Matt opens his." I don't know what it is.
Oh, it must be a Valengard related thing.
We're gonna find out. It's cool.
Oh, yeah, look at that. They're like,
Whoa.
Oh wow! Look at the.
That's cool.
What is it?
it's the Valengard symbol.
I believe they're.
See, Matt, I just stick them in there so they don't fall. Otherwise, they're
Oh,
going to
they're
fall
coasters.
through.
Okay,
Okay,
sweet.
so they don't fall through.
Because the cards will lay on the.
Well, I can put them however I want, man.
I was just telling you what he displayed.
Yeah, these are awesome.
Thank you.
Use them as
Are those
inspiration tokens.
Oh, that's awesome.
The other side, Reagan's asking what's on the other side of the screen. The other side of the screen is blank. It's just blank wood so that I can put in my own whatever. In fact, this will probably be a good way for us to test the forthcoming DM screen that we're intending on producing. No spoilers.
There it is.
As one of the stretch goals for the Kickstarter. That will have strongholds and followers and kingdoms and warfare info on the other side and useful stuff for dungeon masters. When last we left our hero, anything else? Anything else we can talk about? Mods?
Yes.
Too much fun.
So we are opening up today applications for our third round of moderators. And that's going to be no. So that's going to be open for 3. Absolutely not. You cannot. That's going to be open for 3 weeks. And so we're looking for people who haven't ever moderated before because we're going to have some of our old moderators stay on to teach new moderators and then just have like a big happy moderator family. So I believe there's a command for that called !apply to mod, and that will have a link to the Google form in it so you can apply. The end. I sold my gun.
Yay! Thank you, man. Yeah, we try to. Matt, can you get the Valengard thingy from Phil to show the audience?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it like a coaster
Yeah.
for drinks?
Yeah, and they're on one side they're flat and they have the Valengard symbol, and on the other side
reverse.
there's like grooves and stuff in them.
Yeah. He said they were coasters because, I guess since it's my world, he thought it would be cool if I had some little symbol of it.
I think that's,
That's so
fucking
That
cool.
was from Robbie as well.
That's what, the guy who made the
Reckless
boxes.
Robbie.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, these are cool.
Yeah. So thanks everybody. So when last we left our heroes, the Chain of Acheron were planning, they were debating on whose house to rob because they have been informed by someone masquerading as Lady Violentia that each of the great houses of capital have one of the keys to Ringwelm. And they probably don't know that they have it because it's not a magical, powerful artifact. It would just be a family heirloom. So it might be possible, even reasonable, to steal it. However, they have not decided which house to rob yet. And in the meantime, they have to deal with the fact that Duchess Valletta sent Lady Zorgon to get the rod of Count Rodar von Glauer, which she doesn't know who has, but she knows it's around here somewhere. And so, she knows it has emerged from wherever it was hiding, obscurity, Ringwell, and it's now on the map, and it's somewhere in this district. And so they went to the administrator of the district, Zorj, the captain of the ward, the prince's guard here in Collinshill, and said, "Go." They didn't think he had it, but she told him, "Go find it and give it to me, or I will burn out your brain. You have 24 hours." And meanwhile, the heroes have a letter that they were given, a letter of introduction that they were given from Lady Sharome, the head of the Fulcrum, one of the great houses in capital, as a way of getting in touch with and meeting Duke Marco Vorona, the head of House Verona of the Navy, that has sort of been helping the heroes out thus far in the adventure without ever having any kind of formal relationship with.
Sounds about right.
That does sound right. No, I was too excited with all this new stuff. And I'm quite distracted by that.
This is so cool. I can't get over this. I wish you could see it more on screen.
Yeah, Actually, all they can see, they can't see the actual wood. That's There's nothing for it. There's nothing for it except knock that wall down and push the camera
That
back.
one's still got a film on it.
Your mom's got film on it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's true.
I'll take a picture of Carl.
I'm not sure that's true.
I just fancy
Might be.
screen.
Live
action. There it is. Beautiful.
Right. I don't know. I'm distracted too.
Yeah. So, where are you guys right now, like physically in the world? Are you guys at the
minstrel?
Are you guys at the dancing minstrel?
Maybe.
I have no idea.
Somewhere around. It's been a long time.
I left when they were about to go down and talk to what's her face.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So,
when last we left our heroes, you weren't
did
here.
You guys leave Ringwell?
Oh yeah, no, we're still in there.
No.
No, we left Ringwell.
Yeah, you left.
We left because
She left too.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
just
did.
left. She just left.
She's like, you need the key to go any further. So we're like, all right, well.
You are gonna hit me again. I'm gonna get mad.
My aim is true this time.
That got me on the ear, actually.
Cute.
Right. So we have no idea where the heroes are.
Painter's rain.
We're on our way to Marco Verona's house.
Yes.
I think that was our plan, yes.
We wanted to go
Right.
deliver the letter first because we figured that won't take very long, and then we'll deal with the Zorg thing.
But do we...
A halfling that you recognize comes into the dancing minstrel before you set off for House Verona.
Angel?
No, it's not Angel. He's carrying a notebook.
Winchester Spendthrift.
It is Winchester Spendthrift, the lieutenant of the ward. Of the assembled heroes, who would be the most likely person for somebody like a police officer to talk to? Like, which of you is sitting at a table and is not up in their room and is not ordering a drink? Boots?
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly the most Riohan looking.
That's true. Spendthrift pads over to your table and hops up on a chair, and he has his notebook, and he closes his notebook and puts it down and puts the pencil on it, and he says, "Hello.
Greetings.
My commanding officer is convinced that you and your people have whatever it is this death knight wants. I'm sure you're obligated to pretend that you have no idea what she's talking about. We respect that. Maybe if you didn't carry those seals, maybe if she had asked nicely, but now I know my man. He won't give her anything. He'll act like he has no idea who you are and no idea where it is, just to spite her."
Well, I've given some thought to your commander's words as well, and I've come to I agree. I think he's right. If we're gonna stomp around in the prince's territories carrying the prince's seals, then we need to put in the work of the prince's men. So we're going to, before 24 hours time from our last visit of the sweet Lady Knight, we'll be back here to make sure that no harm befalls your commander.
He's super relieved. He's like, to tell you the truth, I had a whole spiel.
It's up all night,
Half the
writing.
session done.
I'm so glad we see eye to eye on this, because I'm really not. To be honest with you, I'm the second in command. If something happens to Zorj, then I would have to take over, and that's not something I'm particularly equipped to do. I'm happy taking notes and reminding my commander of the law, and so I'd like it if he stayed alive for another 30, 40 years. What is it exactly you're planning on doing? Just murdering the Death Knight?
Well, hopefully it doesn't come to a fight, but, that's certainly something that we are prepared to do as, if that turns out to be an inevitability. I don't know. I haven't gotten very much of a good impression of what Lady Valletta is all about, but, not that I have a terribly high opinion of Riojan nobles to begin with, but the fact that one of them thinks that they can just send an errand girl to come and murder people in neutral territories just to take what they want.
It's certainly unusual. I've never seen anything like it in my tenure here with the Word. I think it's a sign of the coming conflict.
Yeah, well, I don't appreciate this behavior, so we're gonna stand by.
Well, if you
We're gonna stand by your man.
we've set your men. If you guys remember that you were confronted saying, "Hey, if you're going to set up shop here in this part of the city, then you actually have to do the job
that's right.
that those seals require you to do, which is be cops."
Yeah.
And Leech was like, "Well, you arrested some of our guys for drunken, surly behavior. Why don't you just deputize them?" And so he says, we're in the process of clearing out and renovating the old courthouse here in the Purses. The Purses is the neighborhood you guys are in. So I think in order to try to keep any conflict away from civilians, that would be a good place to meet. So that if there was
At a cool house.
in the courthouse,
Yeah.
yeah, it's an old abandoned Kalian structure that used to be a vital part of the city, but no one's used in a while. And so, with the added manpower that you have agreed to second to us, we can use it. But right now, there's nobody there. So if there's going to be a fight, I think that's the best place.
I think that's. It's. Let's plan for the worst, as they say.
I'm glad we see eye to eye. It's actually quite refreshing to be able to have a normal conversation with somebody. Thank you.
It's basically Isabel.
Is there
Now I'm in a good mood.
Yeah. No, man.
I felt pretty fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if you think it might be a good idea to have some extra muscle waiting in the courthouse. Not even necessarily as like an ambush, but just as a show of force. If she comes back, she'll see, the 6 of us, a giant cat, and a small army of the, city guard. It might be enough to just
You're suggesting
get her
that
to
she
turn
might,
tail.
in her fell undead powers, summon some kind of undead army, and that we would need a similar force to oppose her. I hadn't considered that.
Just in case.
Well, it's certainly if I bring the subject up to Zorj, he would mobilize all of the officers, not soldiers, all the officers here. I'm somewhat loath to risk their lives if it's all possible to avoid that. My commanding officer views the enforcement of law as something of a dwarven epic to be drenched in blood. I'd rather we all get home at the end of the day and go back to our families.
Yeah, well,
What about your men?
I think we kind of hope for a happy medium.
If Lady Zorgon manifests some kind of army of the undead, is there anything the chain can do?
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is a ton of consolation, but we've been in some sticky wickets before and managed to make our way out, especially with regards to undead. I think between King and myself, they could be considered a bit of a specialty, but hopefully it won't come to that. I think if we might be able to like show up with flexing enough muscle, you know, if she's outnumbered enough, then she might just not even, you know, we might be able to get her to see reason.
It's a gamble, but we'd have to be able to show our cards if she calls our bluff.
Yeah.
Well, you're the experts. He's content to go back to work, basically.
Yeah. I don't know what Lady Zorgon is capable of,
Well, neither does he.
but
It wasn't until you said show of force that he started imagining, what if she kind of goes, "Bruh," and suddenly there's an army of undead.
Death
Yeah.
Knights can do that.
Yeah.
I think Death Knights can do that.
Summon more.
well, I guess look at it this way. If she can do that in the courthouse, she could do it in the street. She could just do it wherever, right?
That's true.
So
Yeah.
your odds are better if we're there and if you've got a good fighting force.
Let's try to contain it.
This is going to be a long day. Well, I'll be at the courthouse.
All right.
It was a
See you
pleasure
there.
speaking with you. And he hops off the table and goes and walks away.
Well, how long do we have between having to go back?
When did this happen? When did the Lady Zorgon thing happen?
Lady Zorgon. What's the other guy called? Zorj.
So Lady
were having
Zorgon
breakfast.
Lady Zorgon confronted Zorj, the commander of the ward, the princes. They're in this neighborhood. They're like the Red Falcons.
Yeah.
That was this morning. So this is
Okay.
within like 20 or 30 minutes of that happening.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right, okay.
I
There you go,
imagine. I
24
actually don't. The only thing that we have done since then is roll up characters for the side quest.
Yeah.
Right.
But actual time in the game,
Yeah.
not much has passed.
Minutes.
So obviously the lieutenant waited for his boss to kind of, stomp off to work, and then he came over here to have a word with you folks after the fact.
All right.
Got it.
Then should we head off to
Yeah, let's
deliver
go.
the letter?
House.
But what we talked about talking as OD now, right? We don't think, bloody hell, this sounds weird. Talking as OD, we don't think it's good to make OD invisible in there. We think they'll just see through it.
I mean, it's
I
an
mean-
imp, right? So he's up to
I know.
mischievous things. So if they do catch him, you can just
Yeah,
be
I'll
like,
just
"Oh,
tell
what
him
are
off.
you doing?"
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's if that's who you want to rob.
Right.
Well, yeah, but we'll just have a butcher's hook look. So sorry, just to translate. So if we're just having a look around, right?
I think the context in which you're asking this is part of an earlier conversation where
It
you
is,
guys
it's
were
like
talking about
lunch. Couple of weeks.
how House Verona has one of these keys too. And
Yeah.
if you,
Yes.
but you have no idea where a great house would keep a key
Not
like
Exactly.
this.
casing.
So
Well-
casing House Verona, even if you don't rob them, it might help when you're trying to figure out where is one of these.
Yeah.
Bingo. That's what I should
Maybe.
have said.
Yeah.
Yeah, what he said.
So no, all right,
Since
then,
we're
yeah.
here.
I'll just have him. I'll have him invisible, and I'll brief him on his duties when we get to this house. OD.
Make
to
sure,
scout around.
I know.
And
make sure he doesn't
Get
touch
Buy here, go there, steal that.
don't steal.
touch
Don't
anything.
touch. Just gather information.
Look with your eyes, not your hands.
Yes.
You can tell him in
Touch
reverse
nothing
if you like.
unless I want.
Yeah, you did. Judge
Yes.
just said that. Judge said no to that. To OD
To
and
OD.
Infernal.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just like, what?
Well, that's.
That's right. 'cause you
I can't speak Infernal. Yeah, those two can talk together.
I hope you're ready to get a bood.
A what?
A bood from the Cave of Wonders. And go for that
A
jump.
boot?
Oh,
And then the whole place is going to come down.
Food.
A boot. A monkey
Abu.
from Aladdin.
Oh. All right, so he's briefed. Behave yourself, OD.
All right, so you guys are going to head off to the estate of House Verona. Is that the idea? And deliver the letter?
Yeah, how far is it?
Yes.
It is. You guys are in the district you are in is adjacent to the one. If you have your map, I can show you. The district that you are in is adjacent to the district that House Verona.
It's close. Yeah, I know it was next.
Because actually, you were on the way there when
Yep.
you guys were kind of interrupted.
We got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Heavily.
So it's easy to get there. It's maybe like there's maybe 4 or 5 neighborhoods between here and there, but it is an adjacent district, and it is a noble district. It's one of the nicer districts in the city. It is nowhere near as nice as where you met Lord Latimer, or where you went and hung out with Marcellus Scipio for a little while. That's like I think the nicest district in the city, the wealthiest, most upper class district in the city. House Verona's district is still quite wealthy, but it has some middle class neighborhoods in it, and that's what you guys are traveling through on the way to the headquarters of House Verona, which is a massive estate. It's like a giant. It's like a university, right? It's got red brick walls that are quite high. There are guards. There are gates. There are watchtowers. And it's not clear if they're ceremonial or if they're functional. There are cannons that align the walls. This is the first time you've seen, apart from the HRP broadsword, the ship that inspected you on the way in, this is the first time you've seen any kind of gunpowder weapons.
Kind of like a naval motif thing. It's like a naval motif.
Yeah, well, but it's correct. It is. They run the Navy. And so it could be that these are decorative, or this could be a fortress that is defended by cannon. It's not easy to tell by looking.
Volley and thunder.
Yeah. Let's see. This is the estate is called Catch Tree Square, and it's a large multi-building complex, and even to get in, I'm just looking through my notes. Even to get in, you have to go through the gates, presenting the invitation. And there's a constant pass of people going through these gates. It's kind of like if you imagine somebody going onto a movie studio lot, right? There's a guard that's going to stop you and going to ask you, are you on the list, right? And so even as you're approaching, you see a straggle of people going backward and forward. It's not like a line. You don't have to really wait. But the guards seem to know most of the people coming in and just kind of nod as they go in. And the guards are carrying muskets. And so this is another instance of House Verona has a monopoly on the use of gunpowder.
Okay.
And so when you present the letter that gets you in, you are escorted. A Marine guard will escort you to a place called Trident House, which is a squat, it's like a 3-story square building. And you are traveling through a very pleasant like Google campus or university campus, and there are people who work here. There are several different buildings. The Trident House is a military operations building. The Marines refer to it as operations, and there's a sign over the door that's got an elaborate trident symbol on it. The Admiralty building, known as the Trident House. You can see what looks like a castle on a hill, constrained by these walls. So this is, it's the size of almost a small town. Oh. And there's a hill, a grassy knoll, and on it is a castle, and it's the castle of House Verona. So this was where the Lord of House Verona and his family probably lived. And it has its own gates and stuff. But you guys are going to the Admiralty building. And the Marines escort you through the Admiralty building, and there are huge windows. You walk in, there's marble floor, and you go up one level of stairs, and there's a room. It's not entirely unlike when you folks visited Lady Zorgon, and there was the big board that had all of the ships on it and all the trade and everything coming and going. Here, you see a room that's largely empty, except for a tall, thin, old gentleman. He looks to be in his 70s. He's got silver hair. He's ethnically Riojan. He's wearing a military uniform. He's got a huge, bushy, white mustache.
Is it? No, wait, never mind.
It's somebody you haven't met before.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say silver eyes.
Have we seen this guy in a cinematic before?
I don't. I don't think so. I don't think you as players have seen this guy in a cinematic. I'm thinking there's only been one or two.
The meta cinematic.
There was one right at the beginning where there was an old Riohan with a big
Talking to
white
a woman or
mustache.
something, right?
Oh, maybe.
That was
Maybe Matt doesn't remember.
It
yeah,
was when we came in
yeah.
the city.
When you came into the city?
Yeah, you,
Oh.
you cut between Lady Zorgon and some other dude.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Lady Zorgon group, and there was another group.
Oh, maybe you have. Maybe Duke Marco Vorona has made an appearance in a cinematic.
Well, you didn't tell us who it was. It was just
No, yeah.
some old guy with
Well,
a white mustache.
now I'm keen to go back and
Yeah.
see if that's who it was. It might have been. Well, anyway, it might have been this guy. But he's standing in front of a huge table. It's much larger than this table, and it's very strangely shaped. It almost looks like it was. It's got irregular edges, and it's in the shape of like a big eye, like a capital I with really long veins here, or like a sideways H, right? So it does this. And it's very expensive. It's got lapis lazuli all through it, and it's got gold thread running along it. And as the Marines escort you up to this gentleman in this large room, this huge table, it takes your eyes a second to recognize what you're looking at because it's mapping like inverse space. All of the empty space is land, and the table represents the oceans of Orton. And so this big part in the middle is like the Bale Sea. And you recognize that like where he is standing is where Black Bottom would be. And as if you walk up and stand on the other side, you're standing where Capital would be, right? And so all of the edges of the table mark the edges of the oceans. And you see that there's little colored blocks.
Is he wargaming?
What?
Is he wargaming?
Yeah. Yes. And there are other officers here that are leaving, like he's dismissed them. And there's some kind of war game happening here, and he's marking their different. You feel as though if you could just look at this for like 5 minutes, you'd be able to figure out which ones of these are like major infantry units and which ones are cavalry units, and these are obviously ocean units because look, they're in the water, and this, that, and there's a whole bunch of activity around the capital of Higara. Most of the model fleets are in Higara, where Ajax's navy, composed mostly of Vaslorian and Chemite ships, all different colors representing what countries they're from, are facing off against the Immortal Empress's fleet. And House Verona's ships, which are the same, you can tell they must be House Verona's because the colored blocks, are the same color as this guy's uniform, are protecting the Higaran ships getting in and out of the contested area. In other words, House Verona is protecting the Empress's trade and keeping her in the fight. But none of his ships are anywhere near Ajax's ships. He's very angular-faced. He's in his probably late 70s. And when the Marines cough to introduce you, he turns around and he says, Capital! Wondering when you'd come by, eh? Gave you enough hints, didn't I?
Yeah, I suppose you did.
Do you have something for me?
We've come to deliver a letter from Lady Shirome.
Yes, Lady Shirome. Yeah. And he takes the letter and he opens it and he's reading it. And he says, Lady Shirome, you thought you were moving your king, but it seems you've moved your judge instead. Tell me, what did you make of the little lady who runs the big island?
She's interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm curious to see in which direction the wind will blow when the attention comes to the stays. Here you're going to speak at the academy. What? Dashed good of you. Keen to know what you're going to talk about.
1,000,001 ways to cook a mind flayer.
Ha! Oh, yeah, the chaps will love it. Get the cadets riled up and keen to fight. Mind flayers and these things. Oh, they've never studied anything like that. No, we drill them constantly on normal naval activities. Nothing like the astral sea. What? Curious to know, he says, and he's pointing at the map. He says, curious to know how you got from Black Bottom, which is kind of where he's standing, all the way over to, and he points where you're standing, to Capital in 2 days. Should have taken you 10 days. What? And you have to fly your ship apart.
Well,
Have you seen my ship?
No. What is it? What kind of vessel is it that you command, sir?
It's an Illithid dreadnought.
By the gods! Ha! Yes, yes. And I heard about it. In fact, my cousin reported it and said you had a very interesting vessel, an illithid dreadnought. What? Capital, yes. And what are those little armaments he described to me? He said that you had no cannons, no balls, and so therefore you were past inspection. But those little things on the side of your boat, they're some kind of cannon, or I'm a goldfish.
Yes, they are.
How are they powered? You don't use gunpowder?
Psychic energy powers them.
Psychic energy, and when does it come in buckets? Is it powder that you sprinkle over them?
Comes in buckets.
You feed
Kind of
the
bucket.
It's powered by prisoners.
Slaves. You chew them up and feed them to it?
In a manner.
So what do you make of this business on the pellet? What the dragons and the falcons? What's the chain see in all this?
Who's he asking? Anyone?
I mean, all of you are here as far as I know. With the possible exception of Big Cat.
Yeah.
I see if force overstepping themselves.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Matt's asking, what did you say?
I said I see a force overstepping themselves.
Yes, you're talking about young De Corona. Yes. Yeah, so I'm curious to know what he's up to. He enjoys the privilege of being able to sort of take a free hand in whatever business he is interested in. And then, of course, young Master Prospero sits back and watches and waits to see what they do.
How do you think young Master Prospero would feel about De Corona kicking off this war?
Well, I'm sure he'd be glad to see it happen as long as he wins. See, that's the trick. What is? I think he's keen to know how the public will feel. You know, he spills blood if he kills the prince's men. Well, depending on how the broadsheets report it, could look bad for him, very bad indeed. And it's a poor way to start a war, being blamed as the instigator. But if it goes the other way, if they surrender, if he's able to pull off some kind of fait accompli, well, then he may seem like a hero. He'll cut De Corona loose, though, if things go badly for him.
Oh, so he's got an out.
Well, his cousin is known for being somewhat reckless. He rides the Blue Dragon, after all.
And you know what they say?
Did we know they were related? Cousin?
I did
No.
not know they're related.
Where do you see yourself in this sort of situation of a brewing, oncoming civil war in the city?
Well, I'm sort of hoping we could talk about that. Everyone knows there's going to be a war, and obviously we'd like to be on the winning side. But it's not obvious to me in which direction things are going to go.
It seems like everyone's in a similar boat, right?
Question is, who's going to strike first? What? Yeah.
Well,
Whether it's going to be planned or an accident could happen. All of these armies, bumping elbows. Something could happen accidentally, and then we all spring into action.
well, what does it take? Because we've seen a sort of rogue force of knights of House Alvaro take over a stronghold on the pellet.
And the church.
And they already struck down the
In the
captain
church.
of the Red
Yeah.
Falcons. And they struck down the captain of the Red Falcons in cold blood.
But that was a
That we're
duel.
here.
Those happen every hour here. And I think, didn't she live?
By our grace.
Yes, well. Yeah, and I think she rewarded you quite nicely. And now you walk around the city with the prince's seals. Ha! Police! He says, well, I think, wondering who's been talking to you. It seems to me that if someone could maneuver a neutral band of mercenaries into striking the first blow, then their hands would be clean, and the broadsheets would blame it all on you.
Well, that's kind of what the dragons tried to do.
Yeah.
They tried to instigate a fight with us.
That's not the done thing. Personally, I'd hate to see Alvaro take the pellet. Sort of see it as our sort of thing, don't you know? It being on island and everything, and us being the Navy. So So we'd be happy if, and you see that there's like a couple little tiny little blocks representing like the stays and the pellet, and there's like an orange one on the pellet, and there's a navy unit next to it, and then there's a blue unit over here on. I'm sorry, that was on the stays over here on the pellet, and he's like, personally, if it were up to me, I'd be perfectly happy. And he takes a finger and he goes flick, and he flicks the unit that represents 12 dragons off the pellet. I'd be happy to see them back where they belong.
If you only had some kind of mercenary company that you could maneuver in there.
Well, it's my understanding that we've already helped you a lot out. What? I recall we got you got the unit of what do you call them? Scavengers, scouts. We're looking for you, and we made sure to deposit them where they would be best useful.
With impeccable timing, I might add.
Yes. See, it's important when you're navigating the trade winds to have good timing, know which way the wind is blowing. Yes, so perhaps we could strike a deal. Eh? You head over there and make a lot of noise and maybe threaten them, and these say our ships off the coast. Maybe De Corona gets the hint. What?
Well, we do carry the seals of the Red Dragons, so it wouldn't entirely be. What am I trying to say? It would.
Wouldn't be unusual.
Yeah.
For Knights of the Red Falcons.
It would be prudent, in fact.
You're
defend the territory that we're charged with defending.
And you're officially officers of the Prince. We could escort you to the, technically, if the broadsheet is accurate, which of course it never is, technically you were trespassing last time, but this time you've got the Prince's seals. You could be escorted to the library with a contingent of our guards. And he looks over at the Marines and the two Marines that escort you over here nod like, sure, yeah, absolutely can do that.
Well, and I think the Red Falcons are on our side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they would much rather the well, they would also like to see the pellet or the 12 dragons flicked off of the pellet, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems to me we were in a position to help each other out. What?
Yeah.
Capital. I love doing business before lunch. Makes me feel like I've accomplished something in the day. It looks like some of you are thinking, so I'm pausing this scene so you guys aren't awkwardly sitting around in case you guys want to talk about something.
Can we talk meta?
Yeah. That's what I'm
So
saying.
it seems like he's willing to sort of show his hand at this point, right? Like if he has his guys escort us,
Yes.
his navy sitting off the coast of the island,
It's a lot of showmanship.
This is what he's wanted all along.
Well, he's willing to
Odds in
threaten
his
them.
pocket.
Well, it's also he wants a neutral force like the mercenaries like us to be the one to set off the powder keg, right?
Yeah.
But he wants to be the one who
I think it's more so. What's the other house's name? I always confuse them. We're at Verona. What's the other one called?
Alvaro.
Alvaro is.
I think he's kind of sticking the middle finger to Alvaro because he went and fucked with water territory without working with him or talking
The
to
thing
him.
is, he says water territory. Do you mean the pellet?
Yeah.
But
It's an island surrounded by water.
That's their belief that they think that's water territory, when in fact that's the prince's domain.
Correct.
So-
But that doesn't. What matters is what he thinks, and what he's saying is
But we're not about
this
to
should
help.
be our stuff.
We're not about to help this guy take over the pellet.
And that's what he wants,
No,
though, right?
but he's
He wants-
saying
yeah.
if
That's what
I
he's-
don't have it, nobody has it.
Right?
That's what he's saying.
But the thing is, like for me, I'm on the same side. We're not going to go there with with Verona troops to roll up on the pellet to team up with the Red Falcons to defeat the 12 dragons, right?
That's not what he's asking, though. He's
That's what
escorting us there to be a threat.
But he even mentioned having troops. Sorry, Matt, can you clarify?
Yeah,
He
I'm
mentioned
sorry.
having
Yes.
troops
What's the
having-
question?
Is he talking about having troops actually come with us
Yes.
on the island?
Yep.
Okay.
That
Yep.
sounds like
What
a
he's
part
saying
of it.
is that
Yeah.
I mean he's not the first person to use this kind of language, and the broadsheets have kind of reported on this stuff too. But no one wants to be perceived as being the person that starts the war,
Yes.
because that would be so bad for PR
Yeah.
that you're not going to get any allies, and then you're not going to win.
But,
Right.
but would
So
he
each
not
one
be
of them
doing
wants-
that? Like if this turns into a fight,
Yeah.
which
The thing is, if it turns into just a
Probably.
fight between us and the Red Falcons and then the 12 dragons, what it looks like the Red Falcons who are defending their territory, and we are part of that contingent now.
But it looks like they're siding with the prince, which would be what is
Yeah,
perceived
'cause they
as
helped
right.
us.
I mean, what he has said in this meeting is that like if Alvaro's knights take over the library, they've already taken over the library, and Lady Antonia has already said we're going to take it back. If she tries that, she's probably going to all her men are going to die.
Right.
And if that happens,
Because of the dragon.
because of their, I mean the
main
law,
guys,
yeah.
like,
they're
fucking
just
powerful.
cops.
Yeah.
Like it's like cops versus special forces.
Yeah, he
guys.
kicked the shit.
These special forces
Yeah.
guys are going to wipe them
Yeah.
out.
Dice
They've got all
roll.
sorts of crazy abilities. Then Lady Antonia is just a fighter basically.
Right.
And so if that happens, yeah, they'd get the it would go from, so it's diplomacy, right? Where they've moved their unit in there, but they have to wait for the end of the turn before it counts as being theirs, before they've taken it. And Lady Antonia is going to try and stop them from holding it at the end of this turn.
Yeah.
And if the 12 dragons win, then House Alvaro, everyone's equal right now. House Alvaro will gain a victory point, but it will also be perceived as them having started the war, especially if they murder a bunch of the prince's men. So that's why this Duke is like, this is kind of crazy. I don't know what's going to
They
happen.
get a stalemate.
It depends on how the broadsheets report it, is what he said.
Yeah.
It depends on how they report it, because it could come out looking like anyway.
Yeah, because
But do we get the impression that he's doing this as a way for him to take control of the pellet?
He didn't say that directly, but he
Sounds
did
like-
that's the
say
impression I
Yeah.
get.
he did
same.
say we sort of feel like this is
Yes,
naval
territory or water
Yeah.
territory or
Or
something like that.
yeah.
I don't know about that.
And that's why I was kind of just like,
Yeah.
nah.
I mean, let's be frank. What? All this territory, neutral territory, the prince's territory. It's all for grabs now, right? Prince has been dead for how many years? None of these, if he were looking at the map, he'd be like, none of these places are going to be independent prince's territory for long, right?
Well, unless there's a prince.
Oh, sure, of course, yes, unless there's a prince, yes. But how do we determine who the next prince is? What? It's whoever wins the game.
Real quick, just before we jump back into it,
Yeah,
I
pause
think
on
something,
pause on the meta.
player. I think one thing that Judge would have talked about with everybody
Okay.
is that, like, obviously we're going to do this Zorj thing, right? We're going to save Zorji. And so, like, that's going to, I think, behoove the word to maybe help us.
Behooves again.
Yes, behooves. To help us, and with them being also part of the prince's domain, like, they could potentially, like, lend some of their men to help with dealing with the pellet. Because I think we would like to keep that in the prince's control, because that's what we're
Yeah.
part of essentially, and we're trying to band that group together.
You guys are trying to start your own faction.
Yeah, we're trying to reinforce it and reestablish like their territories and power points and stuff.
I mean, that's what the commander of the chain is saying.
Yeah.
Is that you guys are going to try and start your own faction, and that if you can help, if you can, like, it seems, I mean, Winchester Spendthrift is a lot more reasonable a dude than Zorj. Like if that guy was in charge, probably it'd be tit for tat.
And the thing is,
Zorj might help you guys out and kind of join you, quote unquote. But Matt does not know. It's going to depend on what happens with Lady Zorgon. But certainly the Red Falcons are going to be in your debt if you save their ass. And at that point, you've got 2/7 of the Prince's Knights on your side.
yeah,
And you're on your way to building your own 8th faction. But definitely Duke Marco Vorona and all of the other lords of capital, all the other guys who are in charge of this, who are playing this game, they see it as a game of diplomacy. And all of these are neutral territories, which they want to. They're not going to fight each other first. They're gonna grab this neutral stuff first.
and I'm hoping that by us helping out the word, and then again the Red Falcons might send a message to other Prince's Guards to indicate that, like, hey, we're here and we're serious about, like, getting this group back together and, like, being a strong contender in this game.
Well, so that's Judge's strategy regarding how do we play this game of diplomacy? Well, we start our own. It's not a 7-player game. It's an 8-player game, right? But that's not what you're telling this guy.
No.
This guy.
This is the pregame
Right.
Yeah.
thing, the pregame
We've talked
strategy
about this
plan.
before.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's just like, all right, like, let's talk with this guy, but, like, let's not make promises or, like, give him anything. Let's be discreet. Like, let's be careful. Oh my God.
You should send more of these because I get all these little things.
No more.
Right. So that's going to be the trick, I think, for you folks, based on what you're telling me, is that this guy is asking you to kind of help him defend this neutral territory because it's his intention to then take that neutral
But
territory.
he wants to do it subtly, right? He doesn't. He wants to do it off the books.
Well, I mean, he's probably going to
Like, there's not going to be a contract involved.
make an insight check. Let's play some D&D. Let's roll some dice.
Roll the dice. I totally forgot about the
And our new
little
box.
dice part.
Dice.
You're getting the Prince's band back in.
That's a number.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Where's my character sheet even?
Who am I playing? Who am I playing?
It's wisdom, so
Well, then it's either an 8 or a 7.
Well, showing up there with his guys and making demands, I mean, people are going to read that as we're taking his side.
And we're definitely not going to do that. We're definitely not going to show up there with like some other.
that's not what he's.
Oh, we're just
saying.
escort. We're just providing
He's
you folks
saying-
an escort.
He's saying escort, but like it's a wink, wink escort.
Yeah, right from the start, this guy's let us in.
Well, he,
Right, when
he
we first
escorts
turned
us
up,
there.
escorted us, the tickets.
It's showing that we have backup.
Yeah.
No, Lars.
If
He's
it-
trying to make a show of the fact that like who is this Verona? That Verona is going to take over the pellet because they believe it's their territory.
But he wants to wait for the game to start,
Yeah,
right? And
he
so
wants us to set it off basically and take the fall for it, and then that way they can jump in and act like it's already kind of started, and that they're not actually involved. They're just playing the game now.
It's like
that sounds reasonable to me.
the 12 dragons have made a faux pas in doing this, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a real risky move. If we show up and we're just like, hey, not cool, piss off,
Yeah.
and they start a fight, it looks
Just-
doubly bad for them.
Yeah,
right?
because Prospero is ready to cut them loose because they've acted a bit out of turn, right?
This might be out of turn. They might just gone those.
Yeah, you have. By the way, that's true. You guys have not.
They were really
you-
weak.
you-
Look how easy it was to defeat their head. Let's just go and take this place over.
I think either way, bottom line is if we if we ignore this situation with the 12 dragons and the pellet, 12 dragons are going to kill the red falcons, which is,
Yes.
you know, again.
And the whole
that's-
city is watching. Like that's what
that's our
everyone on the
Right,
broad
but
sheets.
like
is
Matt said, that's going to look really bad for them, right?
They'll gain a.
Yeah,
It'll
those are our
look-
boys.
So here's the thing: it'll look bad for them, but Prospero
They're our boys.
can still cut them, right? He can say they're acting out of turn, but at that point,
Oh, that's
shit's
right.
already kicked off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a
So he could just
notorious.
connect
It would,
himself from-
there would, there'd be a statement from Lord
Hot-headed
Prospero. So yeah, he's
Right.
a notorious hothead.
And a small
Doesn't
army
represent
that
the-
is currently allied with us will be dead and
Yeah,
of much
we'll
less use to
lose
us.
one out of like the 7 princes guard that we could possibly like ally to our cause.
Who do we want to win the game?
Us.
Wait, we
At
want to
least
be Prince?
Yeah,
Or at
when,
least
when
whoever.
did that become a thing?
I'll do
It's
it.
always been a thing.
I guess we live here now.
Welcome to Judge Land.
Right.
Well, is that our goal?
Well, I think
They want one of our guys
Fulfill the
in the
contract that we have outstanding, which is kill Mortem.
No,
well.
I'm just.
It'd be easier to do if we, you know, have an entire unified city's army at our.
I mean, my impression
Mortem's going to come to us.
yeah.
Yeah.
sooner or later.
Ajax is coming, so it's just like we got to figure out like how to amass as much power as possible, and if we can do that on our own terms, like that's the way I would like to do it, rather than because I don't know where these nobles lie, like I don't know where these the guilds and stuff like that where they're at, but like as far as I'm concerned, when Ajax shows up, everybody loses. So
Ajax hopes for the same thing.
So we need to beef up.
So I think that was the point you were making earlier, was that as far as Judge is concerned, the chain strategy is to kind of coagulate all of the currently independent prince's troops and create an 8th faction.
Well, I mean,
The
that's
point of
always
creating
been
the 8th
plan,
faction is
but
then to win the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like we're not fence sitting. Like we know what we want to do. We're just playing the game differently.
That sounds cool to me. I have no idea if that's possible. We're all going to find out together.
Yeah, previously it was get the 8 factions together and then work with the side we wanted, but now it's
Nah, they're being
I don't know if
they're
that'll
being
happen.
difficult.
Yeah.
They got their own.
Well, I mean, you've played diplomacy, right?
Yeah.
As it says in the actual rule for diplomacy, there's no way to make progress without allying with somebody. And then if you keep reading, it says there's also no way to win without stabbing your ally in the back.
Gotta break a few eggs.
It's actually a header in at least the old version of diplomacy that I used to play. There was a header called the stab. And it's in the rules. And it's like, just letting you know that it's not possible to win this game without stabbing your allies in the back.
We should probably start a game of diplomacy tomorrow, so some people can learn how to play diplomacy who haven't played
I
diplomacy.
don't know if that's a good idea. I actually don't.
mean,
I actually.
it's not a great idea, but some people need to learn. Because if you stab turn 1,
I've had friends of
not
mine.
going to win this game.
I've had friends of mine. Like I had a friend of mine who wanted to play diplomacy without. He wanted to play it like Axis and Allies and never negotiate with anybody about anything. And not long thereafter, he wasn't in that game anymore. And he was really, really, really angry.
Don't we have enough players for it, right?
Yeah, I
7?
played it. It was fun.
Actually, it's a 7-player game.
Yeah, so there we go.
We could play a blind game. We could play a blind game of diplomacy
It was such a distraction.
Same.
That's right. It
I
is
don't-
so.
I couldn't do it because you constantly think about it, and then you're working, but you're thinking about that. And it's, if you could just sit and play for like a couple hours and be done, but like
Yeah, because you have like the 24
Yeah,
hours.
it's
between.
24
you start
hours of-
talking
yeah.
to everyone.
Yeah.
So, you Italy?
Yeah.
I might be able to do a little favour here if you move.
Well, originally, and people watching know, originally my plan was that the map of capital is the diplomacy map. It's just been altered, but it's topologically identical to the map of diplomacy. And my goal was to actually have friends of mine and some of our kind of internet neighbors run the major factions and play a game of diplomacy, and that would be the plot of this game. The problem is that the scale of play doesn't match up.
Right.
Like, it would have to be, in order for it to be happening live, it would have to be something like a turn took 2 weeks.
Right.
And at that rate, it would take forever to fucking finish the game. And so the two things don't align,
Right.
unfortunately. But that was my original plan.
I think the way that I'd want to play this with talking to this guy is that we would need to consider what it looks like to have Verona there, especially if we're going to take on the 12 dragons, right? Because obviously it's not in their best interest to be looking like they're starting a fight. Whereas we can remain neutral as long as it's just us, on our own, working with the Red Falcons to get the dragons out of there. So we wouldn't want to jeopardize their good standing.
Well, His Grace Lord Verona is just offering you an escort, quote unquote.
I mean, I think it's like one thing
It's
to
free
have the
positive
ships.
press for him.
Right.
It's more like, some, like a small unit, effectively, like a D4 sized unit, using our warfare rules, a D4 sized unit that could make a difference if everything came down to it. But ultimately, it would be deniable. It would be like, all I was doing was making sure they got where they were going. We're the Navy. That's our job. It's not my army.
Yeah.
No, by no means. These were just some escorts. These were just some guards that we sent, some Marines that we sent with them. So it's plausible deniability is what he's offering.
What if we?
I have no
What
idea.
if you use the broadsheets? Like make a public demand, or a public request, whatever you want to call it, for the dragons to get the hell off the
stand
island,
down.
or to get what's his name, Alvaro, to recall them, right?
Yeah.
And then if he doesn't, well, then he looks bad.
Yeah. That's a good point too.
You know.
Yeah. It's like, are you trying
try to put the spotlight on him?
Yeah.
Try to shift the tone of the conversation.
Yeah, because
That's a cool idea.
then that means that we've given him a warning.
Yeah.
Right. We've said this is the prince's territory.
Like the warning shot, right?
Right. We work for the prince now. Right. We do it publicly, so all the other prince's territories see it. Right. Of course, all the other noble houses see it. Everyone fucking sees it.
Yeah, everybody reads everybody reads the broadsheets.
And
everybody
then,
says that they don't trust it, but that's all
still
anybody
read
talks
it.
about.
Right.
That's all they talk about.
Column.
and then if he doesn't do it, and we show up
I mean,
to make that demand, right, and he starts a fight, well,
yeah. I really like
why
that.
didn't
Let's
you
do that.
why didn't you pull your man back?
Yeah.
Why'd you spill your beans?
Beans.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
What?
What?
I just need to say that now in my real life all the time. What? That's terrible.
Matt just has no idea what we're talking about because he refuses to watch the new trailer for The Lighthouse.
Yeah. No, I did. Oh, new one?
Yeah.
What was the one we watched in here?
That was the
other
old
week?
one.
Oh, yeah, I haven't watched
Yeah,
it.
when will now be then? Okay, yeah, well, that sounds cool to me. Like, how are you going to go about doing that?
Yeah, don't we have to... Who runs the broadsheets again?
I think we can just go there and make
The
and say we wanna pull
Broadsheet
up-
Guild is what
Oh,
they
yeah.
they have a specific name. I don't
Well, we
Well, an announcement,
right?
we have one of our guys, our bard, potentially, write up a big fancy proclamation, right,
Graphic
with
designer.
the fucking the Prince's Guard seal on it,
Yep.
and we have somebody just leak to the press that the Prince's Guards are going to make a big proclamation today at the library, right? And they show up, and whoever Boots presumably reads it in his bardic fashion, and everyone hears it, and they write about it, and that's my guess.
We can even. I mean, we don't even have
Most
to.
esteemed knights
We don't even have
of
to
the
make.
Order of the 12 Dragons.
Yeah, we don't even have to make a
Piss
proclamation
off.
there.
Yeah, but if you do it publicly,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah, because we wanted to get. Well, the thing is, like, we wanted to take it out as like an advertisement in the broadsheets. That guarantees it's going to be put in, right? Because if the broadsheets are like if they're biased and they don't want to report on it, then we don't have any control over it. Versus if we take our page,
maybe
that might work.
You'd have to hurry though, because whatever's going to happen on the pellet is going to happen within like the next 72 hours.
right.
Okay. Well, broadsheets come out every
All
few
the time.
hours.
Quickly,
Yeah,
right?
they come out. There's more than one a day.
Right.
You guys have personally experienced, like in the time it took you to get from this one inn to the Pharaoh's Dream, a broadsheet had come out reporting on what you had done.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't have to be any of us that go there and like do that, right? Like we can write something up and then send it to Angel and be like, Angel, make this happen.
Sure, yeah, he can do that for you. That's no problem.
Yeah.
It's just being a messenger.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the
But having
Should probably send a
having
message
the senior command
to
of
Antonia.
the chain there would lend it some
Bit more weight.
weight, I would think.
I just wonder if we
You do both?
Like, I think we can do both, right?
Yeah.
The only thing is, like, I have a feeling that whenever we show up there and try to make the proclamation, that Dick Reno is just such a
He's just
whack
gonna
ass that
fight.
he's just gonna want to fight us right then and there. So there'll be no chance for a report to happen,
I
and then
see.
for it to shed.
No,
like,
yeah,
the
you're
spotlight.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just taking out a page is probably
Yeah, we'll just do both or something. And whenever we're ready to go and confront them,
right.
then we'll just go and we'll read the proclamation out, and, like, make a big fucking show of it, and people will be like, "Oh, what's happening?" And then we'll get
The
it.
proclamation
Hopefully the-
could say we're going to be there
Yeah.
at this and such
Yeah,
a
you've
time
got 24 hours.
for you to formally relinquish control of the library.
Yeah.
You know, we could do
Well, you
something
should
like
probably
that.
write.
that
to-
sounds fucking cool to me.
Yeah, that
You should
sounds
probably
awesome.
write to
Actually-
Antonia too to let her know to hold her.
Wow, that was.
I started. By the way, I started working on a script for a video in which we talk
Now you
about
look
different
at
ways
that.
to use inspiration because I like using
So
inspiration.
dreamy.
Man in the moon.
Sorry.
Quite a lot of deal, isn't it?
You're writing a script.
I was writing a script for running the game video in which we talk about inspiration and kind of the difference between how I think it's intended to be used and how I have started using it, which is just to reward players for having really cool ideas and to reinforce good ideas over what might otherwise turn into blind alleys.
But, I mean, with that said, I guess if this dude wants to send along a very, very small contingent or something, or at least escort us via ship there and then stay off the island while we take care of business to maintain.
I think we should make it clear to him that we don't intend to hand him the pellet, right? That's not.
Yeah, he's going to stay under.
Well, the thing that, like, Judge is thinking right now is, like, well, if it's small enough contingent, we're going to get into a fight, right? Like, things are going to get messy. People die when things get messy. So maybe they don't come back.
Phil, make an insight check.
Where's my
Yeah, anybody does that.
Ooh, good.
23.
The trick is that when the dust settles, you folks want to be in charge of the pellet. You are allies. So the goal is to try to do this in such a way that the Navy doesn't end up with more troops there than you guys have.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I see.
or
We don't have very many troops.
Yeah, should we
well,
bring
I
those?
mean, it
Well, I
depends.
guess if you count the.
getting there now. We have like
I mean,
following something,
you've
yeah.
got 2 units on
One of
your
those
own.
scouts.
You have your normal infantry, the folks that survived Black Bottom and were on the boat with you
Right.
the whole time, and now you have the advancers, and the advancers are a small unit, but they are one of the most highly trained units in all of Capital. Like they have seen action. They're the Chain of Acheron's elite scouts. They've seen action the likes of which no one in the city can imagine.
So it's kind of like that churn thing where, like, if we say we fight or whatever, we get the library, and then the churn happens before the Alvaro comes.
Yeah.
Then we get it before they could like sneak in and almost kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how the battle goes and who has how many troops left at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you guys are decimated, but the Marines have taken hardly any casualties, then it could be that House Verona, this guy,
Right.
takes the pellet. But if House Verona's little 1d4 unit with you folks gets wiped out and you guys hardly take any casualties, then you guys are going to hold the pellet.
And we can always have like a contingency plan too, right? Because we're about to save Zorj's ass, so it's like,
That's the idea.
Oh,
yeah, hopefully.
maybe they
And
can help or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anything, if we needed like a little extra muscle or backup to help reinforce the pellet,
We
like,
save
and
them.
make sure our claim there is solid, then we could bring
If
them
that's
in
yeah,
too.
that's the order of events, right?
Yeah.
Say to this guy, we'll have a little unit, but we still
You do have a little unit. That's what I've heard,
They
yes.
come with us, see my little unit, but we got something else to do before that, right? Because we'll have to go and sort out the dead knight in between us going to the pellet. That would be kind of the order of events.
Yeah, we
I
gotta
think.
figure out the Zorj thing, and then we can figure out the the pellet thing.
Duke Marco Vorona is keen to know how things are going in Collinsgate. Collinsgate is where you guys
where we're
are.
at.
That's the district you got. That's the neutral district you guys are in. It has two neighborhoods: King's Cross, which you guys are not in, and the Purses. King's Cross is called that. Well, King's Cross has the a quite large prison in it. That's actually a victory point. And the Purses has the Mint in it, and that is a victory point. And you guys are in the neighborhood of the Purses. That's where the Dancing Minstrel is. That's where the butcher shop is.
What do you make of House Verona or House Valletta? As far as what's their hand in all of this?
Well, as far as I know, Lenny just broods in her crumbling castle and collects taxes and pines over her dead husband.
So she's been doing a little bit more than that
What?
of late.
What?
Yeah. What, speaking of not the done thing, would you ever send a death knight out on an errand for you?
That's a messenger boy.
Total hypothetical.
Now, what are we talking about here? Death Knights. What's this all about?
Well, Lady Valletta sent a death knight to Collingsgate
She did what?
in the broad daylight
Well, now. That's just...
to threaten a city guard with a brain melting.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Interfering with the prince's men. That's not the done thing. That's not capital. Yeah. Let me look into this. It's all very well. Yeah. Then he's like, yeah. This is actually what he says. This is capital, not Black Bottom.
Yeah. Well, this seems exactly like the kind of trouble that's been following us around since we got here.
He walks over to a bell pull. It looks like a large, elaborately woven ribbon, and pulls on it. And a guy in red armor, like bright red lacquered armor, and a red helmet and a halberd, opens a door. It's like 40 or 50 feet away. It's a huge room. And he stands there at attention. And he's the Duke Marco says, Lord Carrasco, get me Gavotte. And this gentleman nods and turns and walks away. And he says, I'll have my men look into this. I think most of us have been happy to let young Lenny sit there in her little dark abode and brood. But if she's going to interfere with the prince's men, something must be done.
Yeah. We thought the same thing. So... she's coming back to Collingsgate. Come look for some forgotten, unimportant heirloom.
Heirloom? What? Heirloom? What's this heirloom? What are we talking about?
Oh, I don't know. She just came out spouting nonsense and demanding that Zorj find some piece of jewelry or something for her, or she'd melt his brain.
Yeah, a new brooch, I believe.
Is this,
the important thing is that she's coming back within the day.
This guy gives you a look. Like a very piercing, intelligent look. This 70-year-old Duke and Admiral of the Navy. And it says, who was it exactly that this Death Knight demanded an artifact, an heirloom from? Was it you? Or was it the Word? It's the Word, right?
Yeah,
and
the commander
the
of
two
the
guards are like, yeah, it's the Word over there.
Yeah, their commander.
Who's the commander over there? And the two Marines look at each other, and one says, Dwarf, I think.
Zorj is his name.
Zorj. Well, not a real name, but this is very strange. And why him? And why now? And what caused all this? You don't happen to know anything about this, do you?
We were just passing through.
It's not clear that he believes you. After a moment, one of the walls that has a bookcase against it, the bookcase goes and slides open. And a young lady, she looks like she's in her early 20s. She's short. She's blonde. She has blonde hair and a ponytail. And she's wearing a very professional looking outfit, expensively tailored. very expensively tailored in the sense that there's all this little filigree and stuff like that. But other than that, there's not much ornamentation in her outfit. She's very severe looking, and she reports, and she's standing there, and she's, I think, probably apart from you, she's shorter than most of you. And Duke Marco Vorona says, "What do you make of all this, Gavat? We gonna let young Miss Lenore get away with this?" And the young woman says, "Well, Your Grace," and like she knows exactly what you folks are talking about, even though she wasn't in the room when this happened. She says, "If I were being threatened by a Ghoul Death Knight under the control of the Codex Mortis,
Okay.
I'd hire a band of mercenaries to deal with it."
Oh.
Seems like the thing to do.
Do you have any suggestions regarding what these mercenaries might do? And the young woman says, "Kill her. It would be difficult. It would cost you a few lives. But," and she looks at her boss, and you have this sense that this is not something she would say if not for the fact that, like, well, you called me here in front of these people, so it must be okay to say this. The Codex Mortis does not have the power to maintain Lady Zorgon's presence in this world on a permanent basis. It would be a month before the Duchess would be able to resummon her.
Ooh.
In my professional opinion, Your Grace, a month from now, no one will recognize this city.
It's like his spy.
It's
I don't
his
have a
angel.
good insight. Does anybody else think it's his spy?
It's his angel.
I don't
It's
have-
his angel.
Yeah, how does she know that?
She read Matt's story about the dragon lady.
She's a patron.
Yes.
She's actually
Okay,
at
good.
the $5 level Patreon. Yes. She ran on Patreon. She's smart, yeah.
That's very good to know.
Yeah.
You shouldn't really have Death Knights just walking around on the streets.
Well, I agree.
Not safe at all.
No.
We do intend to dispose of this Death Knight.
Will that be all, Your Grace? And the Duke says, "What? Yes, yes. What, you still here? Yes, by all means. Thank you, Rot." And she turns and walks away.
What's her name?
Her name is Gavat, which is obviously not her real name, because that is a dance.
Of course. I mean, I knew that.
Yeah, I know you know.
Yeah, the old Gavart, yeah. Doing that last night.
The old Gavat.
Down the old discotheques.
Yeah.
She's like a wizard, maybe. Not using her real name.
And so you can see the Duke is staring at the board in front of him, the map of the seas of Orden, and he's saying, a month. A lot could happen in a month. Could all be over in a month.
What could happen in 3 days?
What do you make of a Higara in a month's time?
A month? Ha! I'll be surprised if the Empress lasts a week. But we'll see. She's put up a tough fight. What? And we're doing everything we can to help her. Obviously, I mean, the longer Ajax fiddles around here on the other side of the world, the longer we have. And of course, there's always the possibility that the Empress might win. Ha!
The longer we
That'd be
have.
cool.
Yeah. Save us a lot of trouble.
All right, if we what's Shiromi gonna think of your helping us kick Alvaro's men off?
Oh, I don't imagine she'll like it. What? But she has her own problems, I think, and we're keen to see how they play out.
Well, do you think Shiromi's okay with them, with the dragons being on the pellet?
Oh, she has her own problems, I think. A little busy over there on the stays they are, dealing with Matt doesn't remember the name of the knights. It's I think the Knights of the Black Gloves.
Yeah, right. The ones that took over the...
And you met them. They had like a pair of leather gloves, pinned to their shoulder armor. And those guys have taken over the Citadel.
They're
And Shiromi tried to hire, she has already failed to hire you guys to stop them.
Oh, yeah.
She hired like the Shooting Stars or something.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Didn't we turn that down for a different job, right?
Well, you kind of put her on
library
hold.
job.
Oh, that
You
was,
put her on
This is
hold.
the Citadel.
That was the pregnant lady from the Office of
Oh.
Exchange Integrity
Yes.
who came and said, well, you folks are doing well for yourself because you
Yeah.
guys were at the Pharaoh's Dream. And she was trying to help she was like, these guys have taken over this, or they're about to take this over. And what she didn't say was the reason they're able to get troops on the island is because fucking Duke Marco and his Navy guys are just going to drop them off. like just offload this other
Right.
faction's troops onto our island so that we can't actually stop them from
The
and
Black Gloves guys, they're from a church, right?
House Navarre.
House Navarre.
There's the guys you haven't even
Oh,
met.
right.
Apart, they're the only interaction you guys have had with House Navarre are those guys.
Yeah.
The Knights of the Black Gloves.
Seems
They were
Yeah.
wangs.
Like it's
These fuckers, like, they kind of deserve to get beaten by Ajax.
Which is like leave
No big
capital.
deal. We're like, good luck.
well, whoever wins would certainly have to be a very adroit player of the game and probably have a lot of soft power and hard power. And that faction, blimey, and that faction would probably disagree with the idea that they deserve to get beaten. They just say we're going to win. We're going to beat Ajax because we won this game.
Capital's the greatest city. We can't let it fall.
Right, but
That's what
like,
Alvaro's saying.
We own it. Yeah.
but in the meantime, they're going to pettily squabble over unclaimed lands and
Well, if we can become more
They
powerful,
just
we'll
wanna
bring
get-
him to heal.
That's true. If you could become an 8th faction in the game and win. But yeah, I mean, they're just hoping. Their goal is to make sure that all resolves before Ajax gets here. And that's kind of what this map is showing. This map is showing that House Verona's navy is protecting Higaran trade so that they can continue to fight and delay Ajax.
Got it.
Anyway,
who would House Verona see on the throne?
is Slim asking that?
Yeah.
Is that how Slim asks it?
Well,
That's fine if it is.
Well, I mean, basically, he wants to know if they had their druthers, who would be the prince?
Whoever has the arc, we
Would it be you?
Oh, me? Well, it's a modesty for, me. I'm getting on in years, but certainly it would have to be somebody whose priority was the security of the city as represented by her navy.
Wow.
Greatest navy in the world, don't you know?
What?
Yeah. I mean, what is capital except the center of trade? All this greatness we've built over these generations because of the free trade coming in and out. Our navy protects all those ships.
Oh, you don't have a name.
What does that mean?
Like,
Or
what's the name?
for an
Oh,
arrow.
wow. That's who knows. That's to be determined. Yeah, I'm sure some appropriate cousin or nephew could be found to fit the bill.
I think by yet to be determined, he means it's not actually that important.
It would be a puppet of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a reasonable interpretation of what he has said. Like, it's not going to be.
It's what everyone has said, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But
Like nobody wants to be the prince.
Yeah.
They just
feel
want
like
to
it's a
control the
dangerous
They
prince.
just want
job
to
to
control the
have.
prince. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not if you've already won the game,
Oh, I see.
right? You're going to get at least like one generation of whoever the prince is or whoever a faction backs him getting to do their thing, and then it's going to be the dust has settled, and now whoever lost has had time to lick their wounds and kind of build something up. So
Have we heard anything else about the shooting stars since the Citadel?
Nope. Actually, you might have in the. I think.
I thought they were in one of the broadsheets.
Yeah, I think we've had a broadsheet that referenced the Knights of the the Knights of the Shooting Star. Is that
Because I
it?
thought it was they went in, they cleared out the
Sorry.
cult or
Yeah, it was,
whatever.
they were.
Yeah,
They
that's
were
what I
no,
thought.
they weren't knights. They were a mercenary.
Yeah.
They were mercenaries that they were actually they weren't mercenaries so much as they're actually an adventuring company. They're like a proper D&D company that were hired to go in, and it turned out that the idea was there were pirates that had occupied the Citadel, but they weren't pirates. They were cultists, and they had summoned demons, right? And so there's all sorts of crazy shit going on in there. And the Knights of the Black Gloves are like those guys' patrons.
Oh.
So now the Knights of the now this adventuring company is kind of left, and the Knights of the Black Gloves have taken over, and Shirome and the Fulcrum are like, shit. Like, that's like the last thing we want to happen.
Okay.
And so they're kind of in the same situation that the Pellet is in, except the Pellet's neutral territory,
Yeah.
but this is Lady Shirome's actual land. So of the two problems, this one, the Pellet is getting more attention because it looks like it's going to light earlier, but this one is actually a much bigger deal. It's
Yeah,
two
yeah.
factions
Yeah.
fighting directly.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Anyway, it is 8:21. We're going to take a break because actually sitting in this position is absolutely the worst fucking thing for my neck, which is still killing me. There's nothing I can do about it. It's my lot in life. So we're going to take a break and come back in about 13 minutes and find out what happens next. And maybe there's some fan art. I don't know. I haven't. Wow. I have no idea. Is there fan art?
I'll have to find out.
Oh, it's going to be a surprise.
Adaptable.
Woo, we're back.
Adaptable.
Thanks for hanging out and being patient, everybody. Those of you who have hung around this long, this is the point at which we enjoy reviewing any fan art that folks have sent us, if any. And I really have no idea what.
I don't think they could really see this on the screen.
Oh.
So I don't know if you want to lift it up.
They didn't have the tactical canvas.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
So this is the other two panels. Yeah, the other two
There you
panels
go.
are empty. The back side looks like this. It's just
I can see Matt's notes.
it's just blank,
There it is.
so that I can put stuff in here if I want to. I believe Matt O'Driscoll. Did you tweet a picture of this?
I did just now.
There you go. So if you go on Twitter,
Tweeter.
so yeah. Well, I'm sort of
highlighted on the second.
yeah. We also have a second stream, by the way, when we do have tactical combat, which has at times in this campaign featured quite prominently. Not so far tonight, but the night is young. There is a whole second stream that you can check out if you want to get a really clear view of where all the minis and everything are, because I think often you need to know where everything is positioned for the combat to make sense, and it's sort of impossible to see when it's just on a little tiny corner. Yeah, let's check out. Let's see what Lars has for
what's
us.
the art? It's been so long.
Oh,
Hey, what happened?
We've seen enough Judge. We've seen enough Judge. More Leech.
Oh man.
Odie's cool.
There's
There's your
I've got my
There's a
rod
couple
out
from
there.
this
Look.
person because they just did
Oh, yeah.
really good
Oh, that's
ones.
right. That's his
Glowy
rod.
eyes.
that's a good Odie.
Oh, that's
Shit.
cool.
Nice.
Wow, yeah. He looks like a
Oh,
70s
his
kind of
sword
like
rod.
punk rocker.
Yeah.
Rods and swords so far.
Yeah, Pat Nagel slim.
Hey.
Well, that's cool.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the top hat.
Yes, yeah, sweet lives, right? In hat form.
Yeah.
That's a very sinister looking color.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that one.
like big Oliver Twist. Can't be Dr. Worms.
Pulling a worm out of your brain.
Oh yeah, he did that for me, didn't he? I forgot.
Gross.
Oh, you told him to pull a worm off.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. That way you saved in action.
This one is so good.
Is that King?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's like, yeah.
It's a,
Taking
That's awesome.
a bath in flowers.
Well, each of the flowers have a different meaning, and I don't 100% remember what each one stands for, but it's all like tied into like King's.
Oh,
there's-
this dude made this dope ass jacket. It's got like quotes from the chain on it. This is fucking cool.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Golden commissioned it.
Are you serious?
And
Uh-huh.
this picture of me walking down the street and
Yeah, it's super
God, that would be
cool.
fucking cool, man. That's awesome. That is super cool. Whoa, what is this? Oh, look at that!
It's a Death Knight.
You have one day, or I will
It's
burn out your
Zorji.
brain.
it's Zorg and Zorj and
Yeah.
Zorg.
And he's not having any of it. He's
Are they
like,
brothers?
yeah, he's just staring it down.
It's a lady.
Oh well.
the flowers are magnolia for nobility, bluebells.
Oh, it's Angel.
As an angel.
It is? Oh man, that's awesome.
It's cold.
I like how
cool.
Yeah.
It's cold.
I mean, he plays
I
angel,
mean,
so.
yeah. Bluebells for humility and oleander for caution. That's cool. The flowers on.
There you
Oh,
go.
we've seen this.
Yay!
fun.
We've seen this.
That's
Look
what I
at
was
that Farrah
waiting
Fawcett
for.
hair.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
giving us his kissy face.
Mwah, mwah.
I like the open dress shirts, very like a Tom Cruise type of
Yeah, it's,
situation.
yeah, it's very
Look at his
interview,
flowing
with,
locks.
interview with a vampire. What is this? What is this? Like the strategically placed boot.
I like the look he has. on his
HR,
face.
HR.
He's like, mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Oh, look, it's Ajax. I recognize that guy. Saint Ajax.
It's like a wanker.
Oh, he looks like he should be in charge.
He's wearing his
Like-
Yeah, he's
glove.
skipped leg day.
He skipped leg day. He looks
Because
like
he
he
got
should
those
be in
wings.
charge.
He just flies around now.
Yeah, look. So,
I mean, I'd vote for that guy.
This is the best piece.
Whoa, what is
Oh,
this?
wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool.
oh wow.
Wow.
Devil's work.
That's the lady. That's the
Yeah.
knight. The Dragonborn knight.
That is fucking
As we were trying to
To
figure out
be
what to do with
fair,
her.
Slim never drew his sword.
That's right. You had your hand on the hilt.
That's what could have
That
happened.
was fucking cool.
But it was
That
cool.
was
Wow,
so
there was some
awesome.
cool fucking art in there, man.
Oh my god.
There was
Phenomenal.
Is it because we get dope art because we took a long break? We should take more long breaks and get better art.
There we go.
No, we had that art 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago,
2 pieces added to it,
Man.
which was the coat and yeah.
we should play more often.
Yes. Yes.
One or the other.
Yeah. I'm down for
Yeah, yeah.
Never over.
I agree. So we were having a discussion out in the kitchen about what you folks are going to do, and the question came up about the actual what is the makeup of the different forces in the game, and it's hard to tell because this kind of cream color thing looks like neutral ground, but it's not. It's a faction, and if you count up all the gray squares, all the unclaimed territory, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 power centers currently unclaimed. And the strongest faction in the game right now has 4.
oh.
About to be buff as hell.
So if you were, I mean, I don't know how reasonable it is for you folks to take over all of the prince's
doing it.
territory when all of these different
Hasn't
factions
played
are all
diplomacy.
fighting over it.
Hasn't played diplomacy.
Whatever. I never played Doom either.
That's true. That's true, and she won. her
You
first
won,
game.
yeah.
Wouldn't it be remarkable if we
I
played
was-
diplomacy and you won your first game of diplomacy?
Well, I'm going to.
That would be pretty ridiculous. Anna played the Avalon Hill Dune board game with us.
Cocky, aren't you?
Had never played before and won her first game and played like a fucking pro. And I was
Ridiculous.
disgusted and depressed and anyway. Anyway, good game, Anna. So yeah.
Because that's
So
Haderach OP.
yeah, Switchblade Haagen-Dazs. Yeah, that's the makeup of the city and where things stand right now. And you can even see that one of the places, like there's a contested spot, and the map is going to change as soon as, probably at the climax of book 1 is going to be the war breaking out, probably. That's the timing of where you guys are and how much time is left before the end of book 1 and how close everything is to war. So, yeah. Well, so Duke Verona is, he's kind of played his cards. You folks have learned something important about Lady Zorgon. And he has said that he's willing to, escort your soldiers to the pallet, to the library, so that if something happens, with the assumption that if something happens with De Corona and the 12 dragons, that you'll get a little bit of a boost because you've got some of his troops there.
I believe he said he had to get lunch, and we have a date with his death night. So I don't know if there's anything else anybody else wanted to ask him.
You guys did.
The chat is noticing a
Face-to-face.
lack of deviltry and evil that they were told to expect now that a judge is in charge. We'll see what happens. People in chat are like, we want more evil.
We want more.
Yeah, so he's
Yeah.
Just kill someone on the way out.
Yeah. Let me just spend
He
all my
just-
kid dice right now and use exile.
he just wants you folks to let him know when you need to be ferried over to the pallet.
Yeah, let's see
Okay.
if we survive our interaction with.
Ladies
Right,
and-
it would be like tomorrow afternoonish, right?
Yeah.
Because death night's tomorrow morning.
We might need a nap. So
We might need a little nap, yeah.
a little,
yeah, you're right.
little rusty.
A little
Taking any
siesta.
damage or use
No,
it
but
as-
after we
mean-
fight the.
yeah.
Oh, after.
We'll be in
yeah.
touch in 2 days if we're around.
Oh, I thought the Death Knight fight was today.
I don't
24
think
hours.
So.
So
Today.
I thought it was tomorrow
I was
morning.
just going to say we
Yeah, I
have.
thought it was tomorrow morning.
tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, yeah.
Breakfast.
Right.
Or whatever.
I assume it's
My bad.
still like nearly lunch now.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he's about to have lunch. He
Yeah.
told us.
Okay.
Yeah, so as far as I know, and it's possible that I've misremembered something, considering that we took like a week or 2 off, that you guys, after you guys rested, and when you were done resting, that's when Lady Zorgon confronted Zorj, and it's only been like 4 hours since then, and most of that 4 hours was spent with you guys getting here,
Yeah.
and then meeting with this guy.
Yep.
And so now he's gonna excuse himself for lunch, and he seems pretty happy to have met you folks, and glad that you speak the same language, and keen to see how things turn out. And then he's gonna let you
I
folks.
mean,
ask
how do we
the-
get in touch again?
Yeah.
Simple.
Oh, yeah,
point.
David diplomacy.
Yeah.
Who among you has the now? Is it still you?
it's still-
I haven't.
Okay.
I mean, I can hand it off the boots.
Well, doesn't matter to me. It's up to judge.
I think
You're the
that.
chronicler.
You know to write stuff.
I'm literate.
Yeah.
I give it to Copper.
Yeah. Pictures.
Is that evil enough?
Well, you got to write out a thing so we can send it to Angel so he can send it
Yes.
to the broadsheets.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that we also let Antonia know, hey, don't wait for us to show up
Stall.
for you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Good idea.
basically.
Yeah.
Because if she goes in and we're not there,
Short guns blazing. Yeah.
she's dead AF.
Yeah.
Well, Duke Verona will have his Marines escort you out.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Duke. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, nice way I can do business with you. What? Excellent. Yes.
We'll be in touch.
And the Marines will escort you out of the estate, and then you're on your own and heading back to Collins Hill, headed back to the purses, headed back to the dancing minstrel.
Yeah, I'd like to ask OD what he discovered during
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
during his
yeah.
He was
wrecking.
captured and filleted, burned, skewered, barbecued,
Then
mauled.
comes back.
What exactly were your instructions to him? Like, what did you want him to check out? Because I think probably, based on what I think of what you had said, he would have spent his time flying around inside the building you guys were in, checking it out.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I don't
Right,
even think
and that building is like
Right.
it's like an office building.
Yeah, not,
Like if
not
there's
the castle.
on the hill, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, who do we want to rob?
Valletta.
The undead?
Yeah.
Well, she did
Well,
say
yeah.
that.
After
did
tomorrow,
something
or
like
Death Knight's gonna be gone.
After
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I
There we
mean,
go.
Oh, yeah.
or
wait,
we'll all be playing the thieves from the heist, being the new senior officers of the Chain of Acheron.
Plus, the thing is that this is meta, but if we go after Valletta,
Yeah.
then it means that we know that probably a lot of them are going to be undead, and we can equip ourselves
Oh.
appropriately to be stronger against them.
Yeah.
Good thing we have a cleric.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
What?
Well-
That's you.
We have a war
No.
player.
But not as the
Come
thief.
on.
Oh, sorry. I thought we're stupid. I was like, of course we do.
I thought you were a cleric.
He's a
No, he's
druid,
not.
right?
Druids are kind of clerics.
They don't have turn undead.
Yeah.
They don't have the anti.
And it's also it's also really easy. Like, there's not a lot of combat healing in 5th edition. There's some.
I think, yeah, I think Valletta.
Yeah. So far, all they've done.
My artificer, he can brew potions of healing for 25 gold pieces in 6 hours each.
That's cool.
It's a lot of potions.
Sweet.
Yeah, what the hell? None of us can make potions.
Well, he's
That's just kind of a shtick.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
I'm not mad. I'm impressed.
he took the alchemist specialization,
Oh, cool.
and it gives you, it
Oh, I
allows you
need
to
that.
brew. The point he's at is allows you to brew potions of healing and something else at a quarter of the cost and like a quarter of the time or something.
It's normally 200.
Yeah, it's expensive.
I can't do math. 100.
I don't know. I don't remember. But
That's pretty wild.
Stand by.
But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, everyone else is like, they're the only ones that have been doing
right. They fucked up.
aggressive, like, yeah.
Yeah. Same
Excuse
in
me.
their own neighborhood. When you get them
you
back
can
to
also
it.
craft magic items.
Well, they're also like a neutral faction. All the other factions are kind of active politically, but apart from dispatching Lady Zorgon, which she literally only did because you guys hung on to the rod instead of giving it up, like she probably, if you guys had given the rod to the Sapphire Sky, this wouldn't, like Lady Zorgon would never shown up.
Yeah.
So now she's sort of like all of a sudden active where before she was passive.
Teed up.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
She got, I know the crown was a gift, wasn't it, from another house?
Thing is, like, she's the only one who, well, I don't know. She's the one who's keeping an eye on shit coming out of Ringwell, it seems like. And I don't know about the other factions.
Mm.
So it's like, if we can take her means to be able to go deeper into Ringwell, seems like the thing to do.
And I mean, I'm not on one side or the other, but like pissing her off is probably the least. As for politically, it might be like as far as like the monsters she can send against you, the worst thing you can do.
Right.
But politically, it seems
Treasury?
like it's the least.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way to like resurrect or like get her dead husband back.
Well,
That
you'd
seems
have
who
to.
She's like
Well,
fucking fascinated with.
I mean, that's a good question.
Mm.
Lady Valletta the reason that all that yellow territory is a giant undead city, which, by the way, like that's larger than all of Black Bottom.
Yeah.
Just that one part. The reason that is that way is because she read the Codex Mortis, and one of the rituals in the Codex Mortis is the bringing back of people that can't be brought back, and it failed. So you would have to. Lots of people have tried to figure out what happened and what went wrong, and none of them have been able to figure it out. So it's not that it's impossible; it's that you would have to do something extraordinary to succeed. Where, because obviously other political factions in the game have thought, well, if we can do this, you know, she failed, but if we can do it, then we'd be on a good side, and no one's been able to do it. So certainly it's unusual that even incredibly powerful rituals that are denied to most mortal men have failed to bring back Maximo Valletta.
Where's he at?
You mean, like, where's his soul?
That,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's been destroyed. Maybe it's been annihilated. Maybe that's why it can't be brought back.
I
Nobody
mean,
knows.
because if it's just in hell, we can
Yeah,
just
like,
go
maybe
get
I
it's
it.
just bought a whole
No.
adventure descent into Avernus, which I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about, but yeah.
I mean, we
It's
got a ship
like-
to sail us there.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely. Yeah.
Just bringing the
I
chain
don't
back
know.
to Acheron.
But you would have to do some active research. You would have to go somewhere.
Well, we're about to get the library again.
Well, yeah, but the library is like a civic resource. It's
Oh.
mostly
Right.
for looking up deeds and houses and stuff. You'd have to go to either somebody who knows some very high level person knows crazy esoteric shit, or go to a magical library, which in this context is probably House Alvaro.
That'd be a Justin Cherry NPC.
It could be, yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool.
House Alvaro run the university, which also includes the Royal College of Sorcery. And the
Oh.
Royal College
And
of
they're
Sorcery.
the ones that took the fortress from.
No, they're the sponsor. House Alvaro are the sponsors of 12 Dragons.
Oh,
Like they're
Right.
major, like the Duke Prospero Alvaro is in your terms. He's like an 18th level magic user. He's one of the Lords of Capital.
I see.
Like the Lords of Capital is this phrase
yeah.
that people use to mean the secret people that pull the strings,
Right.
that different from the great houses.
Gotcha.
Right.
But like one or two of the heads of the great houses count as Lords of Capital. Like the bishop, the head of House Navarre is one of them because he's like an 18th level cleric. Like Lady Shirome might not even have class levels. Who knows? So one or two of the heads of the great houses are these really powerful sorcerers or priests
Gotcha.
or whatever. So yeah, that would be something you would have to do actively. You would have to be like, okay, where's this fucking university? Okay, who do we know that knows like really powerful sages so we can start doing research? That
Yeah.
information is probably not just going to fall into your lap.
Right.
That might be like a downtime type thing.
Yeah.
All right, what are you guys going to do between now and tomorrow morning?
So we're at the minstrel
Well,
yet?
we've got to get the broadsheet thing done, right?
Oh, you're
Right.
right.
We need
Broadsheet
to
thing needs to
write
happen.
the
ASAP.
article
Yeah.
and send it to Angel.
Basically,
Make
we
sure
need
it
to tell them
gets
that they
in.
have got they got 72 hours.
Off you
right?
go.
What?
You gotta write it, bro.
You don't have like you can just say, okay, this is what we're doing,
Yeah.
and
you
then
and Slim can.
between now and the next time we play,
I've written something epic and profound and biting and hilarious.
and you want Angel to
And
deliver this
inspiring.
to the broadsheets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, full page.
Well, wait. Okay. So between now and next week, we need to figure out what it says.
Yeah,
Do we actually need to figure out what it says? or-
probably.
Okay.
At least
I
in
think that's
general
what we
terms.
did.
Like you don't actually have to write it. It would be cool if you did, but you don't have to write it in fiction. You could just say we want it to say these things,
Right.
Okay.
right? And then probably I'll write it up or something.
Sounds good.
Do we
Give
want
it a shot.
timed as,
Yeah,
soon,
you have a go.
as soon as possible, or a certain timing to this thing? I wonder, because if we go to the island,
Well, we're giving them a deadline.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
We're saying like, hey, like if y'all don't clear out like by this point,
Mhm.
like we're kind of showing up.
And if I recall your pitch, it was the idea is you're talking to Prospero Alvaro,
Yes.
To call
right?
them
You're
off.
calling him out.
Yeah.
You're putting him in the spotlight.
That's right.
Right.
You're trying to take the spotlight off of 12 Dragons. Then
Right. Right.
Well,
Recall
'Cause
your
he's
troops, kind of thing.
violated, another.
Yeah.
It's violated the prince's land. Right.
We have the seal.
Brought dishonor on his
yeah.
family name.
Yeah. We'll
Whatever.
Yeah. We'll get it all figured out. I think that'd be cool. I haven't seen your
where are
like, look at this. Like,
dungeon
there's
now?
2 different types of wood that they like.
Yeah, it's like all
inlaid into the thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Crazy.
it's so cool. Do we want to talk about like game plan for the Death Knight?
Yeah.
Chop it up. Chip chop.
I missed it that time.
It's got a
Hit you
head.
right in the face.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if we
Yeah,
want
it's
to
all that
go.
D20, right?
That
I'm
behind
wondering if
you.
we want to go like
Put this behind me?
fucking
No, it's,
hard, like hard right out of the gate,
Go ahead and toss that.
well,
Talk
or
first,
if we want to.
or-
Well,
Well, if you want to talk to her, you gotta know. We gotta figure out what you want to say, right?
Some pens for you.
we
to-
got, you know.
that's what I want to talk
What
about.
about the old,
Worth a shot.
yeah,
The whole Rodaroo.
the old Command
Oh.
Undead.
Well, I was like, is it worth us even trying to like fight her if we want to try and use the rod anyway? If it comes down to it, like fuck it, we're fucking evil,
Well-
right? Let's just use that.
Well,
fucking rod.
let's go from.
We'll try.
That's,
to talk
by the
about
way,
it.
for those of you wondering, I'm sure somebody's wondered, when I came up with that crazy line, the Chain of Acheron prepares to fight death with death. Before I was like, that's a cool fucking line, but I don't know if they're going to use the rod. Wait, and I just messaged Tom and I said, hey, just FYI, if you guys fought Lady Zorgon,
Oh,
Yeah.
it came down to it. Would you use the rod? And he's like, fuck yeah, if I had to. If I had to, I would use the rod. And I'm like, okay, thanks. I just want to make sure my line of dialogue made sense. There's no
What's the command word for the rod again?
there's not
I
a
do the-
there's
I
not
do the
a
double
there's not a
word.
command
how we
word,
attune
quote
to
unquote. There's in order to attune to it, you have to say the passphrase.
Right.
So it's not like you have to like command it to do something with a word. You just have to say the passphrase.
I thought it'd be cool if like
that bit we're not really sure about, right? How to use it.
Well, it
Boots
typically
has it.
we're about
Boots
to
is
Boots
attuned
has
to it.
it's attuned to it, but we're not really sure exactly.
Well, we're about to
how
find
it
out.
works. Yeah.
Here, so-
maybe we could just, maybe she'll just go home.
Command Undead.
If she just goes home,
As he
it's
puts a
fine.
battle tile on the.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably
here,
not right.
like, do we
But this
want
means we
do
can
we
talk
want
our way
to
out of it.
basically say, look, we've got it. Leave Zorj alone.
I mean, it works.
Close enough.
What?
It works.
Oh, okay.
It's a little pit there, but
If you flip it, the lines don't line up.
yeah,
so
the other
I
way
see.
doesn't work. Yeah.
So, I mean, do we want basically just to take the heat off of Zorj and say, hey, we've got it. If your lady wants it, she needs to come talk to us instead of sending her fucking attack dogs after us.
no,
Because we're not going to give it to her. Like that's out of the. That's not even something we're going to
she
entertain.
doesn't know that we have it. She doesn't need to know that we have it.
Mm.
She can't go around making threats against officers of the prince.
Isn't even her
It's a
home.
neutral territory.
Yeah.
You can't just go making demands and go find it yourself. you
all
know?
these things are true. Everything you say is true.
But like,
Sounds like a lot of spoiled
if we were
brat
to
bullshit.
schedule a meeting with her, it might provide cover for our infiltrators.
Get that to a
Oh.
better position.
For infiltrators.
For the heist.
Oh.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm just gonna come out swinging. Immediately. Ah!
Get her! You.
Get her!
I command you.
Come in.
Okay.
So
Will you stop? I brought you a
I
table.
have limited room over here.
I brought you a table.
Anyway,
You're not even using it.
it's right over here.
No, there's another one. There's another
Sorry.
beige one.
Anyway, so yes, the sun crosses the sky, begins to get lower. It's going to be night, and then tomorrow morning you'll meet what's this bucket at the courthouse.
Are you telling Angel we want to rob Valletta?
I want to see how this goes first, right? Or I don't know. What do you think?
Well, Valletta seems like as good a place as any, especially if we survive this. Then there may not be a death knight there to,
Worry about.
to have to worry about for our heist crew.
Yeah.
It seems like the kind of thing where, it's the least likely to stir up any political shit, right?
Yeah.
It's they're probably not going to expect us, but on the same note, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's more dangerous to potentially start shit with the faction that's more involved in, this more keyed up for a civil war, right?
Yeah.
Well, the church is about to have a fourth power center, so it might be worth striking a blow at them, since they already have troops out.
But is this a blow? Is this striking a blow?
Well,
It wants
I
to
mean,
know what
we
happened.
could steal more than just that one thing.
I think it gets messy. We're not burgling. We're trying to retrieve a very specific thing, and I don't want it to get messy.
I think an evil person would probably steal some more.
I'm lawful.
Thieves aren't.
Well, she's not a thief.
I'm not a thief. But I want things done right. I don't want to take unnecessary risks if we don't have to.
Makes sense.
Bro, you know you have a book that has her stats.
What?
You know you have a book that has her stats.
Yeah, it's this one. I don't know, Lars. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, Valletta seems.
You're not fighting. They're not fighting the CR13. You're not fighting the CR13 character in the. This is a different. This is my Codex Mortis, not the Codex Mortis and Strongholds and Followers. My Codex Mortis is better. It summons nastier versions of Lady Zorgon, and it also has stuff in it like the Ritual of Desecration, which she tried to use to get.
No, use the weak one.
Sorry. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, let's get Valletta. Up with the wrong people.
Suggest
Jesse
like
has this down.
I would suggest scouting it out, but I guess that's
Yeah, well,
what we're doing.
That's what we're
so,
deciding.
yeah.
It's like we're gonna case it, and then I think Angel's able to get some intel about the place to help us. Maybe the blueprint or something like that. of the
Oh,
place.
right.
Wait, we're going to Valletta right now.
No, the angel.
We're just making the decision to instruct Angel on what to do once he gets done with the broadsheets thing.
Okay.
We're at the courthouse now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I thought you were saying we weren't going to the courthouse. We were going to their house.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Knock on the door.
Just
Hello.
We'd like to take a look around. We're at this city inspection.
We have this
trigger up the
rod, and we're
code.
gonna go fight you in your own house.
Yeah.
That's not how witches are more powerful or anything, but you know.
We're pretty confident.
I should have minis for all these.
oh my god. We just need one because we're only fighting one.
Yeah,
Yep.
That is one thing to consider, is that they're probably very magical.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
A lot of higher level undead stuff.
the
is-
wards and
Mm-hmm.
well, for our heist crew. Yeah, that's true.
Get your dispels and silence.
We should if we're gonna go for the undeads, we might want to seriously talk about somebody re-rolling a cleric.
Yeah.
A stealth cleric.
My bard that I rolled has some pretty cool stuff as far as like obfuscating like things like scrying stuff or whatever the case is, and she's pretty sneaky.
So as you guys, the next morning, as you folks make your way through the purses to get to the courthouse, based on Winchester Spendthrift's directions, the courthouse is a relatively small building, and it looks almost like an old Roman temple. It's got a lot of like columns and stuff like that. But inside there is a building with walls, and it's decorated in the old Kalian style, which looks much like the modern Commonwealth, which is to say Greco-Roman. And it's the marble is all old and it hasn't been cleaned. You can see marks where rain has fallen for decades, if not centuries. And inside there's no trash or anything. It's been cleaned out, but there's also no like furnishings or anything yet. And Zorj and Winchester Spendthrift that's the way in. Zorj and Winchester Spendthrift are here waiting for you folks. There used to be all like what's the word I'm looking for? Like counters and stuff here, but there are also doors going further in.
I was just looking at the little guy's shield.
We discussed bringing.
They came on their own.
Yeah, they were already here.
I thought they were going to bring some people.
Well, as you guys are walking down the street to get here, you see there are a bunch of kind of lounging around. It's early. It's relatively early morning. Actually, I have no idea what time you folks are planning on setting out, but it was probably around like 8 o'clock when Lady Zorgon when she started the clock.
Right.
If she's being punctual. And so
7-ish.
it's around that time the traffic in the street is picking up, but there's an awful lot of Knights of the Word kind of just lounging around waiting to see what's going to happen.
Okay.
And they don't look like, they don't seem worried, almost as though no one's told them what they're doing here or what's going to happen.
Just,
Oh my
just
God.
come along to a courthouse.
Yeah.
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 Something might happen.
Yeah.
Should be fine.
You can check.
Do you folks want no, never mind. Anyway, it's up to you.
What?
Nothing.
Bring our
What?
bring our
Huh?
our troops?
It's up to you. They're your troops. Do what you want with them.
What about the ones that are working here? Aren't there like
We have
7 of them?
I actually don't think I have stats for the advancers.
Okay.
I don't think I have stats for that unit. So I'm going to decide.
We need to save our troops.
Yeah, we need to repel it. Like,
That's a good point too.
we don't need to get them diminished and turned into undead here. And then
Just us turned into undead.
Let's see.
I'm willing to bet Death Knight throws some sort of nuke out, kills a bunch of them, and goes rise. And
Rise! Wow, you should be a dungeon master. That's some dope shit. What you just suggested.
if you just want it to be combat, we
Are there
LBDM.
leeches in this
Are there,
one?
yeah.
Gosh, I sure hope there aren't leeches in this.
Other undead.
Is that room sealed?
It's got.
There are windows. There are windows. I think maybe one more. Anyway, so yeah, are you guys in the room? Go ahead and put yourselves in there if you're ready to enter in.
I guess we'd go over towards them, though, right?
Does anybody have that exploding glyph spell? Put it in front of the door so she walks in.
Oh, fuck.
Is this what's just the front? This is
The door. Those doors are the way in.
that's the way in.
Spells for today.
Yeah, I think we would
Yeah.
have gone to see him.
We know that we're gonna be fucking fighting this person, so what spells do I want?
Yeah, because she's definitely taking spells to fight you guys.
Fight? She doesn't know she's coming for a fight. She thinks she's just going to get the artifact and fuck off home, right?
Well, that's what Lady Valletta's hoping.
Uh-huh.
Lady Zorgon hopes that you don't have it, and then she gets to murder all of you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me do some
Stand
quick
by.
updating.
We're just getting ready for battle here.
Yeah.
But there might not be a battle. You guys might negotiate or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Or something.
Get that rod out.
Get it out, son.
Go on, whip it out.
Where's my clipboard? Sorry. This must be super interesting to watch.
8 hours. That's nice.
The ritual?
No, just lasts for 8 hours.
Oh.
What is it?
Oh, does it?
I think
Death Word.
Thank you.
Didn't go in.
Nah, it bounced off my forehead. What a wanker.
More like a 5 hat, I would say. I just like that joke. It's not
that's
anything
so
personal.
mean. Wow.
It's nothing personal. I just like that joke.
Nothing personal. You just got a massive forehead.
Are you, keeping, are you taking silence
Look
today?
aside that spam.
I think I always have silence.
Okay, I'm gonna drop it.
I wonder what this spell would do on this.
I have Dispel Magic, and I also have a thing that lets me do like a counter spell thing, which is kind of cool.
You taking copper?
For this, I only have.
Shoot arrow
I have
Yeah.
shoot arrow, mark.
and claw, bite, tentacle, switchblade, gun.
Yeah.
I could take Animate Dead, turn corpses into 1+2 per spell level, skeletons or zombies, and control them for 24 hours.
I can basically slow something down or
That's cool.
stop them. That's all I have.
That's ridiculous.
you need
I don't know
corpses.
why. Yeah, turn corpses. So when the word gets
Yeah.
nuked by,
You can just
Yeah, you can raise the
word against
undead police, undead cops.
wait, and then you can just command them anyway.
for 24
Yeah.
hours.
Take
Well,
your
no,
own
forever with your rod out.
Blimey.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Anyway, all right. Yeah. Zorj is surprised to see you.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
didn't-
wait. Was his face in
Huh?
tell?
No.
As far as you know, no. that was something that he brought up with you guys, not he didn't necessarily tell his boss that.
Mm.
Wow.
Well, Zorj, like you said, if we're gonna carry these seals around,
We have to
Need
do
to
a
put
bit
in
of
the work.
work. Yeah.
By the gods! That's what I like to hear! Fight to the death! We'll show her she can boss us around.
that's the spirit.
Yes.
Boots likes this guy because he speaks in a yell at all times. Come here, I have something to tell you. It's a secret. Let me whisper it in your ear.
Somehow he's always next to a table too.
Yeah.
He just carries his own little table.
He like
around
sets
with
it up.
Yeah, all right. Let's just
Spendthrift, give me my table! Yes, I agree. No, he does. Yeah. So he said, "What are you doing here?" And you're like, "No, we're here to." You said we're gonna be cops, and he's like, "Yeah, that's it." And yeah, when you say that, Spendthrift, who's got he's taking notes, as he always does. He's like looks at you and goes, and that's it. Zorj doesn't see this.
Huh?
Did you want to put her on boots?
I put it around her. Grab her. And give her
Why is this paper sticking to my
There's
Look on the other side.
there's a
That's
thing.
pretty funny.
this paper? Oh, I see.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I've discovered magnetic paper. I'll be rich.
That's a good magic trick. If you spin it the
Yeah,
other
put
way.
the fridge magnets business out of
Yeah,
fridge magnets out of business.
exactly.
Yeah, just
we need
stick
just use
paper
paper that just yeah, exactly. Anyway,
We gotta go.
Yeah. I'm out. Turn this off.
Shut it down, Jerry.
well, at none of you are able to tell time this precisely, but what appears to be exactly 24 hours.
Oh. I think I wanted to do a quick augury.
Is there any spells you folks would like to cast before the arrival of some number of death knights? Probably a natural number, greater than 0.
What?
Less than 12.
I'm gonna cast a Death Ward on myself.
What does Death Ward do?
It
Words off
when a
death.
creature drops to 0 hit points, it drops to 1 instead, or negates first instantaneous kill effect.
An instantaneous kill effect.
Oh.
That's funny because she has an ability called instantaneous kill effect. Can only be negated by Death Ward.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
I've only got 2 spells.
Necromancers, Dan Bookman says, necromancers are just clerics of bad timing. It's funny. Okay, so yeah, King casts Death Ward on himself, not on anybody else, because fuck everybody else.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Screw this stupid
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Way to save your own ass.
I'm the one who can revive people, dummy.
I can revive people too,
Yeah,
and
with
I'm the
a
commander.
fucking price.
Put it on me.
No, I already cast it.
Is anybody else going to be casting any spells on themselves or anybody else?
I'm just doing
I'm
augury.
gonna worry
real
about haste or anything like that.
quick. Oh yeah.
Might want to wait till.
Wait.
Isn't is,
Yeah, if
you
it
might wanna
runs
wait.
out, it kind of fucks him. So
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
wanna- wanna use
Because
it.
when haste is over, it becomes slow.
Yeah.
Like he has to pay
Uh,
for it, basically.
Don't forget your commander ability.
Don't
What is
forget-
it?
You
I don't
as a
have-
bonus action, you can give Slim an extra attack.
Oh. Does this
You can do it to anybody, but let
No,
is this still a thing?
me see.
you can do
Can
it
I,
to
can I
Slim or
inspire
Vince.
us?
So.
No, because she's not bringing. It's not. This isn't one organization against another.
Gotcha.
If this was, if Lady Zorgon was, if she really was bringing a whole unit of Death Knights, yes. Squad. If she was bringing a whole squad of Death Knights, absolutely you could do that.
So the question I want to ask
Yeah.
is, if we use the rod of Von Glauer, what would the
Dear
outcome?
Asmodeus,
Dear Asmodeus,
if the Chain of Acheron uses the rod of Count Rodar von Glauer, like in any way, or in this battle, or what?
specifically if Boots uses it, what will the outcome be for Boots? Because we've never used it before, right? So we don't 100% know if it's gonna vampire him or something like that. And so I want to see.
Well, what would in Judge's mind,
Mhm.
what would a bad outcome be?
A bad outcome would be, I think, Boots no longer being capable of putting the chain first.
That makes sense. Let me read the augury spell.
Okay. It's Wheel Woe or
Right, but I need
the
to.
third one.
I know what the answers are. I need to understand more about. Does anybody have a player's handbook here?
Yeah.
Wheel, whoa, or what?
What? Let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow. Hark!
Is that from that scary film again?
Yes.
Apparently, I mentioned this by the way. It's described as a dark comedy.
Yeah, I know.
And people who've seen it said the first half
You
is
can
actually
see with
really
us.
funny,
I'm coming.
and then it gets fucking weird. Apparently,
Oh,
What?
what?
I mean, that scene was.
I didn't think either of those trailers seemed particularly spooky. I just really want to know what happens. I just want to know what was going on in that lighthouse.
As soon as they tell me why they spilled the beans, I'm just
no,
going
no.
You'd be like, okay, you know what? I'll get it.
to walk out.
Fully eject.
Yeah. That's all I needed to know.
That's the
Thank you,
post-credit
Oh,
stinger
Ah.
for
Dang.
Lighthouse 2 Endgame.
That's how they get you.
Got it.
No, what?
Anyway, go ahead and do your thing.
Look, Judge probably knows how augury works. So if
I'm
this doesn't
sure
make
Judge
any-
does.
If this doesn't make any sense, then you should probably tell me no and not be a dick about it.
Not be a dick about it. I'm look where I'm sitting.
Because I know there's a part of it that says like you have to know it's basically what's going to happen within the next half hour.
Yeah.
And
So in the next half hour, is something bad going to happen to Boots if Boots uses the rod?
right, because the combat doesn't take that long, right? So if we're going to use it, it's going to be within the next half hour probably. And then it was like, but it also mentions that like things about if spells were used, like that can obviously change outcomes.
Sure.
But I'm asking specifically like we're going
I
to use the
understand.
rod.
Yep.
Why are you acting like this?
I understand now. I already knew what you were going to ask and what the
Wind me
because you explained what you were going to ask. I just needed to know how augury works. Now I do. Now I know.
No, I'm just waiting for Mark to spell off.
Mark the spell off.
It does nothing.
You're gonna get an answer.
Oh my god.
You're gonna get an answer.
Hey, Boots.
It's gonna be one that I can understand.
I'm
Yep.
gonna
It's
cast,
either going to be wheel woe or wheel and woe, and hopefully you now know the difference between or neither.
Ooh.
Protection, prey, umfrey, udgay, or evil gay. Ixnay on the
I'm gonna
elspay.
I'm gonna cast protection from evil and good on you.
Which is it? Oh, never mind.
Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against certain types of creatures, and I'm going to choose undead. The protection grants several benefits. The creatures of those types have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target. The target also can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them.
What few people know is that Lady Zorgon is actually gelatinous.
She's re-dead.
She's re-dead. She's not undead. She's re-dead.
Okay.
Really
So,
dead.
I got that for 10 minutes.
Sweet.
You're going to consult the cards.
Clumpage.
I cast that
Clumpage.
after.
The clumpage.
Consult the clumpage.
It's real.
It's not, but it is.
It is.
Okay, let's see.
Ooh.
Okay.
Boots is a Slytherin.
Well, in
Slytherin
in this case, the snake represents birth and renewal because the snake sheds its skin, and that's the cards telling you that it'll probably be fine. It'll probably work. Wheel.
That's the good one.
I was just like,
Yeah, wheel. Like if you're familiar with the term Commonwealth, like the Commonwealth of Virginia
Well.
or whatever, it's the wealth is actually wheel.
Going to go well.
The common wheel, the common health.
Okay.
Anyway,
Commonwealth.
yeah. Will Boots
Yep.
become a vampire
No.
in the
That's
next
not
30
what I
minutes?
said. That's not what I asked.
No.
Yes.
No, but he will be reborn into
Yeah, straight
something.
up like fucking snake shedding his skin.
A
All
bat.
right, I get it.
It's just it's
As long as he's still in service of the chain.
for
like
somebody
promising
like
to you.
Judge, it's a symbol of renewal and rebirth. It's a good thing, positive thing.
Transformation.
It's not a sinister thing. It's
Well,
positive.
I know Asmodeus has different ideas about
Well, if we
good
need,
and bad, and
Is a vampire good?
if you need to walk out in the sun, OD can parasol you. You'll be fine. So.
Come on.
Parasol you? Yeah.
When he turns into a vampire, does he get a complimentary coffin? Is that how it works?
We need to get you a bigger parasol. We can both be under there.
We'll find out what happens. Who knows? I don't know.
Count Dio has a nice enough ring to it.
Count
right?
Dio.
So-
Is it Dio or Deo?
Dio.
It's Dio.
Yeah.
Count
Dio.
Of course.
Dio.
Of course it's Dio.
Well, good luck, Boots.
The appointed time. So you guys have all cast all your spells and done all your rituals, and you've talked to Asmodeus, and Asmodeus has given you the answer that is
You have
technically
buffs to
correct,
do,
and therefore the best kind of correct. You have protection from evil and death ward,
I'm gonna
and
hang on to him for my sword bard things. Which is why, as a bard, I don't
Just
tend to
walk
throw
off
out
over there.
inspirations.
I go look out the windows.
Yeah, just the raining outside.
So,
So are we gonna try and talk to him first? Talk to her first?
I
Yes.
think so.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you can talk to her for at least a minute, I can do something cool.
What's that?
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
I get know
Thanks.
your enemy. If you spend at least 1 minute observing or interacting with another creature outside combat, you can learn information about its capabilities compared to your own. Strength score, dex score, con score, armor class, current hit points, total class levels. etc.
Nice.
Well, this
So
is the
what did you learn
opportunity.
about Marco Verona?
Fucking here.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
What?
She just popped in the middle.
What?
Ah!
She,
Get out of here with it.
what?
Oh shit.
What?
She's a bit close to me.
Oh god.
As Judge and Zorj are talking about what the outcome of what that little card thing was you were doing, this soot on the ground starts to kind of like dance and vibrate,
BK.
and then manifest into Lady Zorgon. Sounds like turn me the fuck around.
Oh my god.
And Lady Zorgon appears in her finery. She was in life a queen of the Goal, which means that if she wasn't dead, she would look like kind of a Conan type character. She still has long black hair under her helmet, but now her once dusky olive skin is pale white. And she actually scares the shit out of Zorj, because Zorj is not a fucking 7th level mercenary. He's a cop. And she says, the rod.
Oh, now she knows it's a rod. Didn't she just?
She knew that.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought she said artifact before.
Yeah.
And he's just going to try to stonewall her.
Yeah.
He's like, listen here. Like, and he invokes her master, Lady Valletta, because he's learned who she works for. And he's just going to, like, berate her. It's not going to last a minute. And she reaches out her hand. Like, you're either going to put the rod in it, or she's going to do something to this guy.
Step back.
Yeah.
Like,
Zorj doesn't step back.
step
Zorj
back,
is like-
Zorj.
Oh,
I'm gonna move up. I'm gonna stand next to Zorj. Oop.
Ah!
I'm gonna stand next to
friend of mine,
Zorj. Just in
once
case.
when I accidentally broke one of his minis, was like, they're meant to be played with. At the end of the day, you can repaint them. You can, anyway.
Glue them.
I'm gonna say, Lady Zorgon, I don't know who you are, or where you're from, but in this, the greatest city of this or any age, you can't just expect to come down to a free part of the city and threaten a civil servant with death on some cockamamie errand and not expect consequences. If you were to, say, deliver a message to Lady Valletta, we could perhaps do this on more amicable terms, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to leave this courthouse. I'm gonna be just sort of like casually jingling my princess seal at her.
Oh.
Leave this courthouse and this set of dimensions.
Yeah. Please leave this manifold.
Hey, fuck her off.
So, like, if this were a negotiation, I would say, okay, well, make a roll. You give a little speech, make a roll. But unfortunately, like, she's not actually empowered to do anything other than
It doesn't seem like it. I'm kind of just trying to buy more time for
Yeah.
Slim at this
well,
point.
okay. So what she says in response to you, she listens to you, and you can hear this sepulchral, echoing breathing, as though like wind is blowing through a deep cave. And when you invoke Lady Valletta and say, go back and talk to her and this, that, and the other thing, her eyes flash red, and she says, the book commands me, I must obey. And what you can do is you can make I don't have my, hang on. Sorry. What are the skills in 5th edition?
You already set that up on the inside of this thing.
Athletics,
isn't diplomacy one of them?
painting, weaving.
Diplomacy is not one of them.
Not anymore.
Persuasion.
Persuasion?
Yeah.
You can make a persuasion check to actually, I don't think it's persuasion because she can't be persuaded, but your boots. So
Why don't you persuade Zorj
It could
to
be-
take a couple steps back?
it could be a performance check to see if you can keep her talking long enough, or see if you can verbally dance around her.
Yeah.
It's only a 26.
Just come on, mate. You got to roll better than that.
Good old boots.
Not even over
Just
30?
missed.
Jeez.
Bard.
So 60 seconds is a long time, but she showed up. She demanded the rod. Zorj babbled at her in his in dwarf for a little while.
I'm also
And-
going to, can I, like, while I'm talking to her, sort of like, kind of subtly push Zorj behind me. And
I
get in
mean,
front of him.
you'd have to make like an attack roll or a strength check or something because he's a fucking dwarf.
Okay.
He's not like he's not a 7th level mercenary, but he's an incredibly stubborn dwarf. That's kind of what Spendthrift was trying to tell you guys. Is he's not going to back down for any reason.
All right. Yeah.
Like he it would not bother him at all, like to die in the glorious service of the city and be remembered by all of his descendants and
Could
whatnot.
I?
I guess I would try to like sort of, and he would just kind of.
While he's doing this, and I'm
Yes,
sort of
yeah, he's
watching,
like,
can I
get
just
back up in
sort
your
of be like, Zorj, a word?
I don't know that would do it. Like she's confronting him. Remember, she's not confronting you guys.
Are you
So
just trying to get in where Zorj is?
No. I'm standing there doing my thing, trying to figure out that, whatever we want to know about this guy out of this list. But, with Zorj standing there, I'm just wondering if, like, I would say, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? Right? If that would have him walk over to me for a second.
I mean, he's basically ready for battle. He's not. He's waiting for.
So he's just gonna ignore me.
Yeah.
He thinks you said the word, and he calls them all in to complain.
Like.
A word. Like.
No, he's gonna ignore you because he's in battle mode basically. But Boots is able to keep Lady Zorgon talking for a minute.
Okay.
With his remarkable repartee.
All right. What do you guys want to know?
What are the options?
Strength. Any of the strength, dex, con, armor class, hit points,
Maybe that.
total class levels, if any.
Well, I would tell you right now that
Probably
doesn't have class levels, so don't bother asking.
Like, and we can find out the AC within a
We'll
round.
find
or
it
two,
fairly
Yeah,
quickly,
the HP is what's going to take us all the way to the end to find out.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
That's true. Good point.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay? So you want to know that?
it's
I
true.
think so,
Okay.
unless.
Let's find out.
Is there anything else worth knowing?
Yeah, Lars, do you have any?
Well, if you guys have any like
Strength,
super
dex,
fucking
con,
critical spells,
AC.
where like this whole battle depends on this spell working, and that spell has a saving throw, then you might want to know what that one stat is, right? If it's like a charisma save or whatever. I actually don't know if you have any spells like that. I'm just letting you know.
Well, it's just strength, dex, con. There's
there's no not in Wiz or charisma.
well, no, but
it's stuff you would be able to tell.
observable.
It's stuff you'd be able
Right.
to tell. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
How about
Oh, I
they
forgot. Fuck. When I was playing Winchester Spendthrift, I was going to be down on my knees and just have my head up. Completely forgot about it. Fuck.
That'd have been funny.
It would have been. Well, next time.
Yeah. let's
Hopefully
do
he
it again.
lives.
Well,
So are you?
The only spell thing we need to know probably is charisma, but she's an undead death knight. She probably doesn't have a lot of charisma. I mean, I guess it can be forcible.
Well, I can't find that out anyway.
It's only
Can't find
physical. It's
charisma?
only
Oh, okay.
physical stats.
Then yeah, I think hit points.
all right.
What's her
All right, what's her hit points?
Well, just out of curiosity, what would you guess?
I'd guess 180.
I would say.
That's exactly how many hit points she has.
Really? Oh my goodness.
You should say 160.
We knew
Oh,
anyway.
it says
Wow.
Jerry says, know your enemy only tells you the value relative to your own.
What?
What
What does that mean?
Like higher, lower, equal.
That's
Oh.
bullshit.
Well, now we
You're
know.
still guessing. though.
Okay. So about its kind of compared to strength, dex, con, armor class, current hit points,
Right. Like, does she have more? Like, what? Read the whole thing.
total class levels. If
No.
any.
What is the ability you're using?
Okay. If you spend at least 1 minute observing or interacting with another creature outside combat, you can learn information about its capabilities compared to your own. Strength.
It's
score-
compared to yours. Is she stronger than me? Yes.
Oh, that sounds.
Does she have more? Does she have more
much
hit points?
Less cool than.
Yeah,
I
right.
thought it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Well, I having already told you how many hit points she has.
Yeah.
Even if I hadn't done that, I would probably do it anyway because that does sound kind of fucking useless.
Yeah.
Like
It's more.
Of course they're gonna. Of course they will.
Great. Does that mean it's plus one more?
You did good
or
enough
plus
on the
four more?
IRL skill check to get
Yeah,
Matt
really.
to tell you
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
actual stat
That's true, but
is.
it's kind of like how, like my friends and I, when we were kids, we knew that the paladin's detect alignment ability didn't work the way we were playing it. We just thought the way that it worked was dumb, and so we thought it was cooler to play it as it lay.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it would be pretty useless to be like, yes, this thing has more hit points than you. What does that fucking mean? 5 more? 100 more?
All right. Well,
So yeah, she has 180 hit. She has exactly 180 hit points. In
Alright.
case you doubt me.
I doubt it not,
I don't doubt you.
for I have seen it
I've seen
with mine own twice.
yeah. 19d8 plus 95, which means she's technically the equivalent of a 19th level character.
180.
Copper.
That's I'm right next to that door. We're both next to that door.
Actually.
Scram.
Hey, Leech, I'll go with you.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Huh?
What?
Traitors. We don't deal with traitors under this rule.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
What are you going to do about it?
it's initiative
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit. What is
because you guys don't give the rod, right? You guys, no one gives up the rod.
No way.
I don't think so.
We haven't even got it out yet, have you?
Oh, we're just fucking going for it.
Well, I mean, this is like Boots was able to keep her talking long enough for that was the only thing that the roll was for.
Right.
Is initiative's going to happen? Can Boots keep her talking long enough to
Right.
delay it for your ability to work?
Okay.
That was interesting. Okay, well. Where are all? Do I have all of these? Looks like I might. King.
6.
I
6
see.
is pretty low.
You couldn't do that if you had the. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, you're not gonna win any fights with those
Well-
kind of initiative rolls.
Well, I mean, it's probably better that I go later because
You know, you guys, I don't feel this. You know, that it used to be you rolled
Well,
initiative.
no, you
every
guys
round.
were talking shit to each other.
And not only was it you rolled initiative every round, so that which meant that was much cooler and more important. Like you could go suddenly like, do we win initiative this round? Made sense. This way, it only matters for the first round, and then after that, it's just a cycle, right? There's no longer after that. And also, it was you rolled initiative on a team basis. Like if you
I knew about
won
that.
initiative, you all went.
Yeah.
You all went, and then all the bad guys went, and then
Okay.
And then when that one guy who rolled for your initiative, your team's initiative rolled bad, everyone was pissed at him.
that guy got that
Didn't
person.
you
was
add up
not
all your
happy.
initiatives and divide them?
Copper.
I got to be that guy when we fought.
24.
24.
Nice.
It's too clear.
Good aiming.
Slim.
17.
How come Slim doesn't have a cool little picture like everybody else does? Boots. Same question for
I
Boots.
also got 24.
The Boots didn't have official art when we did that.
Well, now he does.
Like,
If only we
12
had
years
a
ago.
producer that could produce this shit. Leech.
We have art tracker for it now.
17.
17 is
Which
pretty
is the
good.
same as Slim.
So is it
Oh, wow.
My dex is 14. Yours is probably higher than mine.
My dexterity
Well, maybe
is
not.
18.
Wow, you have a lot of high. You have high dex for a fucking warlock.
Wow.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Why is your dex? Why is your dex 18?
Oh,
What's your
Drow
charisma?
get a +2.
Oh, really?
yeah.
What's your charisma?
19.
Oh, okay, fair enough. As long as it's not. As long as you didn't put your wrong stat and fast assets on the wrong level.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Dex is AC for them, so
Oh, that was it. Yeah, because my armor class was rubbish.
Where's Judge? Where's Judge's? Do you see it out there anymore?
yellow right there. under
Yellow.
the thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Judge.
11.
11. Interesting. What's your dexterity?
Oh. Well, double up.
Interesting.
Mm.
My dexterity is 14.
Oh, okay, that's good. That means you go before Lady Zorgon.
Woo, all right.
Gorgon.
Good to know.
Yeah, so Lady Zorgon's, her sword, it is wreathed in ultraviolet energy, and she's about to attack.
Oh.
All right.
She's going to attack Zorj, is what she's going to do. You folks are whatever.
Oh, she can still burn his brains out.
Correct.
Right, she might be a one-hit job. I think.
Yeah.
We
Dang.
need to get him.
What is
Out
a
of there.
Death Knight but a miserable pile of armor? Enough talk. How about you?
Awesome.
Push him or something.
I'm going to nerd around so that I have advantage. My attack.
Oh.
That is a.
I told you I was standing in line at Whole Foods, and I was wearing my nerd shirt, and this young lady was just walking to Whole Foods, and she was just going to walk past me as I'm standing in line, and she looked at my shirt and she went, nerd. And then she had this look on her face like, why did I say that out loud? She kept walking. It didn't stop to talk to me, just went, nerd.
21 to hit.
You hit.
Great.
So I was a little nervous about that actually. All right. That is a 14 damage on the first attack.
Hang on a second.
That's never good.
She's going to use her legendary action.
No,
Legendary.
this is not legendary actions. You can only do 3 times. She can do this almost as often as she wants. She parries your attack. It's a huge, massive, two-handed black greatsword, but it moves as quickly as your rapier does, and she parries your attack.
What does that mean?
That means that as a reaction, she increases her armor class by 6, and you didn't hit an AC 26.
Ooh, and she can do this like almost every time, you said?
She can do, it's a reaction, so she can't do it again until her next turn.
Okay.
So she's used it for
this turn.
Correct. But once King goes, then she can do that again. So this actually is almost certainly not the most tactically, this is me giving you folks a break, because she doesn't know what you can do. Like, if she knew what you could do, she would have used it against Slim, because Slim can cut her head off.
It's good against Boots, because now he can't use his third attack, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But I like playing my bad guys trying to use only the information they would reasonably know, and they do not reasonably know what you guys can do.
Wait, so is it? Well, I wouldn't know that.
So, well, let me say,
That was the first hit.
against one melee attack.
Okay.
So if you want to attack again, you may. And
I'm-
her AC is now back down to some still quite high, but less than 21 value.
Okay. Let me think for a second. Let me think.
I'm excited for now that I know that you guys are going to rob House Villa. I'm excited
That
to
seems
see
like
what
the most
happens.
exciting one to do.
Pretty cool.
I'm gonna steal the book also.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking
I'm gonna scoot back over here and attack again.
It'll be fun when
Rod.
Angel gets to give
Rod.
the infiltrators that.
Rod?
23.
Yeah, the
information.
debriefing.
Very. Right.
Yeah.
23 to hit.
By the way, everyone's undead.
Yeah, the whole city, everybody in the entire city is undead.
How's that Rod?
Rod?
All right, so that is 10 damage, 14 damage, and she gets pushed.
Is it 10
Nice.
and 14 or 14?
Just 14.
14.
She gets
Push your
pushed.
way. That's good.
14 damage, and I pushed her away from Zorj. And indeed from myself. And I'm going to...
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead. Sorry.
We're dead.
And I'm going to use the... I'm going to use the rest of my movement to box her in.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
It's cool.
If-
I was worried I wasn't going to be able to get advantage.
Yeah. Copper. Big cat. Be
I am
effective.
going-
Find a way to do
Be effective.
be effective. Try to do. I would.
Way over here.
You guys each did 40, 50 points of damage on your turn. Everything could be fine.
Yeah, be all over.
Yeah.
How much damage did you do?
He did 14.
14.
All
I see.
right. I'm gonna
Better than nothing.
Here, there. There.
I often reveal to the players elements of the monster manual stat block, not because they would know it, but because I think it's dramatic.
Okay. Hunter's Mark. 1d6 extra.
Did you hit?
No, I'm just.
Oh, you're
I'm
rolling.
just-
I get it.
bonus action. I'm gonna put the mark on her, and then now I'm. Whoa! I miss. 20. No, that's not 20. It's 13. I miss.
A 13 is a miss, correct?
And then big cat will attack.
Right. Work on it.
You rolled both your attacks?
Oh, you're right. I have 2. Why did I think only?
Sounds
one?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work.
There we go. 30.
Necrotic.
Yeah.
30
Doesn't
hits.
work on them.
Yeah, so 30 hits. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I had to rest.
Too bad I didn't have a similar spell that, from a celestial point of view.
15 damage.
Anything.
Should we probably keep track of? Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you want to know, you guys know how many hit points she has, and if you, I'll tell you how many damage you've done.
okay.
There's no reason to. I'm doing the math already, and you know how many.
Got it.
Yeah, you guys have done 29 points of damage.
Yeah.
Now, big cat's attack. Big cat attack. Let's see.
Big cat attack. Big cat attack. Wah! Meow. I got Vince to
21.
be Tiny Cat's playmate, and they hate each other.
They'll hate each other.
21 hits.
21 hits.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Vince is just a fucking terror.
I thought Vince liked Tiny Cat, but
Well, Vince
Harasses
likes
Everybody.
just haranguing Tiny Cat, and Tiny Cat's like, God damn it, just fucking stop, right? And so Tiny Cat has to go find. I have to get a Tiny Cat like a box so that she can have her own space that Vince can't get into, because right now what she does is hides in little cubby holes and stuff. Anyway, sorry.
11 damage.
I was just thinking about Big Cat. 11 damage. So yeah, that's exactly negative. You've done exactly 40 damage.
That's not bad.
there we go.
If there were 1, 2, 3, 4, if there were 6 more people going before Lady Zorgon, you'd be fine. Leech.
I'm going to move OD first. He's tiny, right? So he doesn't technically take up a square.
Sure.
Right. So let's say he's there harassing around her head. Which I think gives me advantage, right?
Sure, yeah, you can have him. You can have him use his action
Help,
to
yeah.
help.
So,
And we can assume that he's threatening her. And yeah, that seems like
a
advantage is pretty easy to get using these optional rules. So,
all right, and I'm gonna blast. What is my blast? +9, blimey, with advantage.
That's pretty good.
Oh, 20.
did you roll a 20?
Natural 20.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
And this is Eldritch Blast.
that's an Eldritch
Roll
blast.
double your damage.
The double my damage on that one. Okay, let's double my damage on that. What is my damage now? That went up as well. D10 +4. 8 +4, 12, 24.
You roll the dice.
No,
You
you
roll the
dice
dice twice.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay. 8 and 5. So what was that?
29.
29.
So you roll the dice twice, but you do the math once. So if you have a bonus like +5, you add that once.
So it's like 8 + 5 is 13.
29.
29.
Yeah.
29 points of
Yeah,
damage.
you had 24.
So that's
before
70
and then
minus 1
10.
is you've done 69 damage to it.
That was with one blast. I've still got
That was fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Well, obviously this is your patron, who is if your patron's opposed to anyone, it's fucking Lady Zorgon.
Dead
So
nuts.
the celestial beam of energy that ejaculates from your fingertips.
Jeez.
Listen,
Why?
I don't think you expect.
pro writer vocabulary. It seems empowered. It glows and it casts Lady Zorgon's pale face in this ethereal blue light.
Ooh. All right, because my second blast with advantage. 19.
Miss.
Oh. Okay.
Wow.
And I moved back already. I am done.
That was Leech Slim. She has a head, Slim,
Yep. All right, move me up.
and she used her parry.
Yeah.
This is. She probably will. Next time this scenario happens, she will have saved her parry just because of your fucking evil sword.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So I know that Copper's already gone, and therefore Big Cat's already gone. In combat, there's like a thing that I would like to try and do or to optimize. Like, is this something like a suggestion I can like kind of like shout out in combat, even though it's not yet Judge's turn?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, for instance, if I wanted to ask Copper to like move Big Cat to the side so that
Yeah, you don't have to wait till your turn to talk
Okay.
or strategize.
That's probably fine. What does he want to do?
Well, I was thinking if you turn Big Cat, it means that somebody else can also get up closer to smack him.
yeah.
Okay.
Because Big Cat was
that's
just taking
fine,
up a lot of room.
Okay,
Yeah, where does
so
Zorj go?
I'm going to use one of my
a good
superiority dice to do a
Last, he goes last.
distracting strike.
I'm not expecting him to live.
And spend. What's his face? Did he get a go?
Huh?
Spendthrift? Or...
Yeah, they'll. I don't know if they're going to do anything. I mean, they'll do some. I don't know if it'll be effective,
Right.
considering that they're not used to like.
Might give him a
This
little
is something above their, a little bit above their pay grade.
Oh, you got these guys too.
23.
23 hits.
Okay.
He's got his bracers now.
I can reroll.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
No.
Okay. Let's see here. So that's 11. 18. 24.
32.
8. 33.
Nice.
33.
First attack.
Beat my 20. Quite
We're at
pleased with that.
102.
Yep.
Halfway? No, more.
More than halfway.
Yeah,
All right.
halfway.
Second attack.
And someone's got another attack.
And Judge gets to go.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just gonna watch the rain outside the window.
Yeah,
You are. Yes.
Yeah. Here I am at the window over here.
27.
Just turn your thing around.
Yeah.
27 AC or 27 damage.
27 AC.
Hits.
Okay.
That would even hit if she tried to parry. I seem shorter than.
You are.
Yeah.
Hello.
You definitely.
I am your
Why
dungeon.
are you?
I am your dungeon master.
Why didn't you use that voice for Spendthrift?
Yeah, that's not what Spencer. He doesn't sound like a moron.
Got a Jim.
Yeah, you got a little Jerry then.
Just
you know,
put
it's
your
a good
chair up.
joke if
All
you
the
get a
chairs were
little
kind of
Jerry.
weird
They
when we
got
got
moved,
in
yeah.
here. Yeah.
I want
Well,
to
see you later.
get a superiority
Spendthrift.
die, but like none of these. I mean, I suppose I could just do the same
Yes,
thing.
use your superiority die.
I will.
All the weird voices I got. I don't know why that's the one.
I liked it.
That was convincing.
Okay, I can reroll that and that.
Jesus Christ. It's a lot of D6s.
Nah, I'm not doing that this time.
27 damage just for that one.
Got it.
Take her out in turn 1.
Well,
I
there's only one person that goes after between Slim and Lady Zorgon.
yeah.
So
I'm gonna use my action surge
Fine. I don't much clue.
to get an additional action.
this is going to be a very swingy battle.
Swingy battle.
Swing.
But she's humanoid.
Slim swing.
This doesn't matter if she's like
Talk.
she's a ghoul though.
She's not she's
Inspiration.
her category is not humanoid.
Yeah.
That's like elves and dwarves and humans. Her category is undead. It's annoying because humanoid, she's definitely humanoid in that she has 2 arms and 2 legs and bilateral symmetry and a torso and a head.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Right?
use
But
a
she's not a humanoid as far as the
precision
category.
strike to try and get that up higher.
That's-
So like
that's
Boots
people.
is protected from undeads.
Yes.
20.
Can't be protected.
AC 20 hits. In fact, AC 20 is her armor class.
Ah, now we know.
Fine.
Okay.
I didn't want to do anything cool anyway.
Well, I mean, also
You certainly don't
only
want to,
cast 2 spells on your turn anyway.
This is
unless one's a cantrip.
It's not a cantrip.
It's a
I was gonna
cantrip.
do that too, and then I'm like, wait a minute, you can't do that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Can't do 2.
Can't do 2 spells.
35.
So
I'm still gonna do it.
Jesus.
Man, I
You
wanna
almost-
do
you
this.
guys almost killed her in one round before she
Last one.
Damn.
Wait, you get another attack?
Yeah, I took my action surge to give me another action. I get 2 attacks per action. We can double check to make sure that's the case.
So this is
but-
4 attacks, right?
Yeah.
Let's finish.
Is this normal? Yeah.
well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so
how
I'll
much
Jerry-
damage-
I'll
sorry.
Jerry
Motherfucking
say it.
chainsaw.
How much did you? Yeah, we gotta do something about that. What? I'm kidding. How much damage did you just do?
35.
A wither appears in the courtroom.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This is my last.
She's surrounded by
last
diamond
attack.
blocks.
And it's a miss.
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
It's just
reroll.
advantage.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, I thought it was a reroll.
Yeah.
Never mind.
And I'm not gonna use any superiority die because that was. They
do
were
it.
2 2s.
You have to use a turn 1. Come on, bro. Did that every time.
I'm really seriously rooting for you folks. Normally, I want my bad guys to live, but if that happens, this is going to be a very swingy combat.
Yeah.
So it's Judge. It's your turn.
You have advantage.
Judge,
because I
if you
did the
can do
distracting
16
strike.
points of damage to Lady Zorgon.
How much?
16.
16.
You guys have done
I'm just gonna-
164 points of damage.
Judge is just gonna cross his arms and like finish it slim.
Nice.
And for my command bonus action,
Her
for
commander.
you get a free melee attack.
Oh, wow.
And that's your action.
No,
That's my bonus
It's a
action.
bonus action.
Holy
It's
shit.
the commander
it can only be
ability.
done once.
That's
per
kind of
fight.
cool.
I call
Yeah.
bullshit.
It's your rules.
Hang on a minute.
I've literally used that on him every fight.
8, 16. I'll use my precision strike.
Oh.
21.
Yes! Oh my goodness.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Lady Zorgon. Not yet. we
No,
didn't
no,
even
no,
get
that wasn't the damage. That
You
was
have to
the
roll a
hit.
damage.
Yeah.
Like,
But he needs like 16 points, I think.
Oh,
He's got
Still.
16 dice.
Yeah.
still, that's.
Yep.
I can reroll that.
Yeah,
oh,
you
it's
killed her.
6.
Yeah, she's dead.
That's 12,
Yeah, she's dead.
16,
I didn't have to take my fucking sword out.
24,
Yeah.
20.
You didn't even have to get your rod out.
32 damage.
32 means that of 180 hit points, you've done 196. So Slim with Slim attacks with his.
I did 29.
I think you attacked 5 times,
Yeah.
and you hit. I think 3. You hit 4 times.
That's
Yes.
Yeah.
And each time he swings and hits Lady Zorgon, the Vorpal blade that he uses digs right through her. It just slices right through her silver armor until the final blow cuts through her torso, and this ultraviolet light erupts out of her body, and she detonates, and there's an explosion of necromantic energy. And
Do we take
Lady
damage from
Zorgon is no, it's purely narrative.
Ah, that'd be
Healing
cool.
from it?
It's purely narrative.
She's killing.
Pesto enthusiast says yes. This is Judge's courtroom.
Yeah.
I think Slim did all the work, but yes, I agree.
Yeah. Oh, she gave that command at the end.
And
Yeah.
and afterwards, there's like silence, right? And your ears are ringing. It's not from the explosion, but from the sounds of Slim's blades slamming into Lady Zorgon's armor over and over again.
His howl of combat rage.
Mhm. You just start
And yeah, Zorj points to where she had been standing. Goes, yes. and that's yeah, Lady Zorgon is no more. Lady Zorgon should have rolled better initiative. Which so just so you folks know,
God, I'd love to know what she could have
I
done.
was using like Lady Zorgon and Strongholds and Followers is CR 13. I sort of felt like CR 13 would be a little bit too easy for you people. So I was using the actual legit stats for an actual Death Knight.
Which is badass.
Which once per day, they get Hellfire Orb, make a DC 18 dexterity save, or take 75 points of damage.
Oh, we would have all died.
Wow.
Well, it might not be 75, it's 20d6. And it's
So it could be more.
It's a 20-foot radius sphere, so it would have been...
What the
100
fuck?
grand.
I'd have been all right.
That would have been fun. So, yes, somewhat anticlimactic, but pretty epic. Pretty epic.
Yeah.
Slim had to
Holy
do a
shit.
ridiculous amount of damage, but this is
fucking glad
this
you
is
did.
the
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
this is what happens. Yeah, this is the Book of Judge, and this is the Chain Ascendant.
Chapter 1. Piss off, guys.
Yes.
That would have been a better title
Yeah.
than the one we came up with. So yeah, Zorj is in your debt, and he owes you a life debt, and he's a dwarf, so he'll pay it.
And now he's seen what we can do.
Yeah.
So we didn't
Yeah.
we didn't struggle
he
at
thinks
all.
he
We're
thinks
just
you
like,
guys.
fucking-
He didn't even swing a
Zorj
sword.
is
He
now
was like-
convinced that you guys could conquer the city.
I hope he tells that to the
command
other
him.
Princess Guards.
Well, he might. He might.
I'm going to
Tell
turn
him
to
to tell the
Spendthrift and say, "Did you write that down?"
Yeah, he does. He's kind of stunned, right? Yeah, but he absolutely makes note of what happened, and members of the Word like show up and they look in to see what's happening, and all they see is you guys. And it's already over. It's already over, and Zorj is eager to in very you can see the heritage, his dwarven heritage, kind of coming to the fore as he wants to tell a tale like a dwarven epic of what happened when Lady Zorgon crossed swords with Slim, the pilot of the Chain of Acheron, and yeah, that's the battle. They are the It's obvious that the soldiers of the Word had no idea that Lady Zorgon had even shown up or done any of this. Spendthrift had kept it all under his hat.
Is there anything left of her?
No,
Like,
no, it's total protonic reversal.
Dude, that happened in less than 6 seconds.
so like,
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 seconds.
all of her armor and stuff went away as well. Like she didn't.
I would say yes, because
Yeah.
she's a summoned creature. Effectively, what you did, because you can't kill her. What you did was you banished her.
Okay.
Right.
For a month.
Or you annihilated her corporeal form,
Right.
which means she's going to reform on probably technically in the book.
Right.
And in 30 days, the book will recharge, and
The book-
she's going to roll
the
better
book
initiative next
that
time.
the book that we're going to steal.
Well, she's gonna save her
Steal.
parent.
Yeah, she'll save her. Yeah, correct. Yeah, now that she knows what you can do. Yeah. So the 30-day clock is now ticking.
Right.
And that's not the only. I think there's another 30-day clock that you guys are under as well, if you remember, which you may not.
Oh.
Well, okay, well, that good. I'm glad you don't remember.
What?
Yeah, and now
So many clocks.
Before what's her name shows up.
yeah, before
Dragonite lady
before
comes
the
back.
church
Oh,
church
fuck
finds
yeah,
out
yeah.
before
At
the
that point,
church
it'll be
finds out about
fucking chaos,
Ringworm. Yeah, considering that it's
Throw a
been
couple more things in
yeah,
there.
correct. That's what everybody else is doing.
Let's do it that way.
So having decided, it's almost exactly 10 o'clock. Having decided to target House Valletta, literally the estate of House Valletta, Castle Valletta,
Yeah.
have Angel make an espionage check to see how good his intel will be. And this is going to determine
Come on,
like how much detail you get regarding the estate that you're about to burgle and how accurate that detail is.
Yeah, make it a
Is there anything that he can use to benefit
Well,
that? Or?
you guys have already, the things that you use are you have an establishment for a base, which you do. It's a sausage shop. And you have a,
Did we pay
can
to
you spy
upgrade?
yourself?
Advantage.
I don't think so.
Can I use inspiration for this?
Yeah, it's you're the head of the spy organization. Angel's your agent. Somebody was at. Where did we get these? Somebody gave them to us. Was it Devon Rue? Was it Devon Rue? Yes. Did she have a website? Because people have seen me flipping these, and they're like, those coins are fucking cool.
That was just DevonRue.com.
DevonRue.com.
I love mine.
me
I don't
double check
ever want to
real quick.
use it because I like it just sitting here, so I can.
They're basically like dope ass paperweights to hold your battle mat down, but they're just I just like.
Oh, that's what it is. Paperweight.
It's not DevonRue.com.
Don't go to DevonRue.com.
That's the spam site.
Don't Google that. Don't listen to us.
My phone.
Don't Google any of this stuff. Don't Google any of the stuff we say here. By the way, HR.
No.
+5, right?
Huh? Yeah, you get plus
Proficiency +2 from the organization, right?
you get proficiency. You get to add your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
And which is I think +3, correct? Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a 16 total.
Okay, so next week, Angel will debrief the you guys need to come up with a cool name for
Infiltrators.
The infiltrators?
I don't know.
You guys need to come up with a cool name for this team. But next week we will begin. Well, presuming that in the next week I have time to get the heist ready, I'm optimistic. I've already got 2 of my people working on one of the props.
Oh, sweet.
Top men.
Yep, top men.
What, man?
What about
What about?
Dickaroonie and all that lot?
Well, I think
We're gonna have to take care of
that
them next.
keep in mind that like can be happening kind of parallel to this.
Gotcha.
I suspect it's campaigncoins.com/DevonRue.
They're the ones
Devon
who
Dasher.
manufacture the actual coins themselves.
Cool.
And then DevonRue has her own website, which is rueinc.com.
RUE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully people in chat, mods, I bet, because our mods are super cool, are taking care of this. So yeah, next time we get together, which may be next week, no promises. Well, actually, we will almost certainly get together next week. Some of us will, and we'll play something, maybe Codenames, maybe Dune, who knows? But if that's only if I'm not ready for the heist, and if I am ready for the heist, whenever we are ready, then it'll be Angel debriefing you guys with the result of that roll, and definitely you could roll a lot higher. So there's definitely there's an element of a briefing that is like perfect information about where everything is. This is kind of in the middle. It's a success. You're going to get some information, but some of the stuff on the map that the information he provides you might not be entirely accurate. You won't know until you're in the middle of your heist. So you're going to go infiltrate the castle of House Valletta in the middle of the dead city and try to recover the key to Ringwell.
Yeah.
Glad I used that inspo because this was a 1.
Oh my god!
That would have sucked.
Yeah.
Dude.
That would have just.
It's over there.
Narratively, it would have been no. Her guys are too good for us. Like we weren't able to figure anything out.
There, castle.
Wolf.
Frau Blucher. It is the end of the show. Thanks for watching, everybody. I had a really good time. I hope you enjoyed watching. It seemed like everybody here had a good time. I consider this a successful night. Until next time, I'm not sure when that'll be. Maybe next week. No promises. Be seeing you.
Pip.